All right, guys, welcome back. Today we've got Larry and Kel Spot. Kel couldn't make it today. Today our guest is Juan Dejesus. You have your podcast named
Behind the Sine.
Behind the Sine. What do you do in your podcast?
So I'm taking a new approach to your average podcast that you hear recording in regards to audio production. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of videos I've watched and other podcasts I listen to. A lot of them talk to you as if you already have like somewhat of an understanding of the topic, So my approach is basically just kind of helping out my fellow engineers by explaining the process, everything that's involved with audio production, starting from scratch. So kind of just building up on it from there. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so is it recorded? Is it live? What kind of stuff do you specialize in?
So mine is recorded. I started out. It's went through a couple different renditions so far. When I first started, we did it as a scripted, just to make sure that everything, kind of worked and there wasn't a lot of like hang-ups, and just found it didn't really sound natural. So I figured, I'll just go ahead and go, record it, but as live, basically. Just kind of speak freely, don't speak from script, because there's a lot more feeling involved.
Yeah, that's why we do it here, man.
Yeah, exactly.
When we have guests go on, they go, "What do you talk about, bro?" Wherever you want.
Yeah, whatever comes up. Yeah,
it is what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get that completely. Okay, so are you like specialized for the engineer, or are you more? Can you like teach people that don't know anything about it?
Yeah, so it's more geared toward, or at least I guess my fan base, I would say, is more geared toward the people that are interested but don't know where to start. Right. Like I know we talked about before, I had gone to school. I just graduated last year in October for a degree in audio production. So there was a lot of stuff that they were teaching me there that even then it was kind of just brushed through. So I was like, because it's a lot. I mean, again, like I was just saying, most people don't realize the amount of stuff that's involved in audio production. Most people think it's just sound, it's just this, it's just that. But like, there's a lot that goes into it to really get that it goes behind the scenes to make it sound good,
Right, yeah. So we run a DJ company, right? Larry's one of my DJs over here, right? Mm-hmm. And he's about to go solo here soon. And for me, the things that I understand is quality of the equipment, right? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily how to, that sounds bad, but how to properly do the gain structure and all that good stuff, right? And so for us, it's more about buying quality equipment, helps get that quality sound. Mm-hmm. But with a guy like you behind it, have quality equipment with a guy who actually knows what he's doing, mm-hmm. I'm sure you can make those things like hit where they really got to go. Yep. Right, that's perfect. Yeah,
I had a guy that I worked with. He was kind of the one that really got me into deciding to go for audio production to school for that. Because before that, I was unsure what I wanted to do. Because at the same time, you don't need to go to school for audio production. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can learn on your own. It's just the school helps to guide you to what you need to know, mm-hmm. and then from there, you can build upon from there.
So did you apprentice anywhere, or did you just go right to school?
No, I went to school. I actually was doing it on my own for a while. My first DAW I messed around with was FL Studio. It was
What's a DAW?
So a DAW is a digital audio workstation.
Okay.
It's basically like the heart of the operation. It's you have your microphones, your mixer, and everything that you speak into, but the DAW is what allows you to process the audio, clean it up, do any editing, mixing, whatever you need to do to make it sound good. What you're
saying is we need you here. Is that what you're saying, right?
Well, I got a question. You said FL. You talking about Fruity Loops?
Yeah.
Oh, yo, Fruity Loops is like old school.
Yeah, it was my first. I think it was around when I was like maybe 8 or 10 years old. It was like I was at my aunt's house, and my uncle had it on his computer. I was just messing around with it, and it took me a while. It took me like probably 3 years before I could even figure out how to get a beat like on the playlist there. It was literally, it's very, very complicated. And it took me a while to mess around with it, but as long as you practice with it, you get better. You understand all of the settings and all that stuff, and that's kind of what the school helped me with. So from like about 10 years old on, I was always messing around with it. I had a buddy of mine. We always did, music together. He would rap, and I would sit there and produce the beats for him and everything. So I had a basic, or at least I thought I had a basic understanding of it until I went to school, and then they were like, "Hey, this is this is that." And I'm like, "Oh, there's so much more." Yeah, I'm like, I thought I knew, but there's a lot more involved in this. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So what kind of things are you trying to do besides your podcast? Like, what would you, if you had a dream job, what would your dream job be?
So the end goal is to basically build a brand. I mean, especially nowadays, it's a lot easier than what it was with social media and everything. And you got YouTube, you got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Dumb guys
all
like us
that.
on a podcast.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
I mean, hell, you even got AIs now that it's like, hey, just upload your video and you know make a video for you. And I'm like, okay.
I love ChatGPT, by the way.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Right?
You know, I've messed around with that, and like a lot of people are afraid. They're like, oh man, AI is going to take over the world. It's like,
that's me.
It's not. Like it's not like you think.
No,
we're not in that Terminator level yet.
No,
you know,
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But
because once it becomes a general intelligence, if you connect it to the internet, super intelligence comes so much faster.
Yeah.
Well, they're talking about quantum computers now.
Well,
too.
they already have quantum computers.
Yeah, you know what a quantum computer is?
Yeah.
Like it's like a living life form within the computer that actually helps it think better.
Well, it's like
DNA and crap.
It's like having ones and zeros processed at the same time on a quantum level.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
It literally. So about to get a little nerdy here and probably confuse a couple people, but like, you know, I dived into physics at one point just to help me to understand sound. You know,
I love
like
physics,
like I said, my whole point of the podcast is to give people all this broad knowledge out and kind of like condense it to make it more understandable, you know, to where people can actually get really excited about it and they're like, oh man, this is cool. Like I know it is. And it's not just more than just sound. It's not just plugging your microphone into, you know, your phone or in your computer and just going within thinking like, okay, that's it. Like, no, there's more to it, you know?
Yep.
And a lot of the reason is because like there, you know, there's a lot of materials out there, like going back to what you were mentioning about the equipment, you said good quality equipment. You know, people who don't know enough about it, they go out there, they look on Amazon or whatever, and they see all these like audio mixers and interfaces, and they're like, oh, this one's only $50. Why would I buy this $300 one if this one's $50? And it says it does this, this, and this. And to some extent that may be true, but there's always a compromise, whether it's the materials that are used to build it or just the company overall.
So I get a lot of people asking me a lot, like, why do you buy this certain brand of speakers? Because they're expensive.
He's an EV fanboy.
Yeah.
I love good quality stuff, right? But they ask me, like, why do you spend the money on this stuff when you can get away with this? I said, well, look, you can drive from here to California in a golf cart if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or would you rather do it in a Ferrari? What's better?
That's a good analogy. I like that.
Like we're having a conversation because I'm trying to buy some speakers, and like his speakers that he has are awesome, right? They have a really good like internal structure, and you know those speakers cost $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's like,
those
okay,
are the cheap ones.
Yeah. And then like and then the ones I'm looking at, they're like it's $500. They're also EVs. However, the internal compartment,
the DSP on it,
it's they're made from polymer instead of like, you know, like aluminum or made from wood or something like that, where you get a better sound. And, you know, so it's like, well, you know, what can you do? You know, are you gonna go and do this, or you're gonna go and do that, and then so you can get the money? It's like, what are you gonna do?
Well, and see, that's the difference between what we're doing and what he's doing too. You know, we're quick in and out kind of stuff. We'll do weddings, we'll do parties, you know, where people aren't really caring about true quality.
Yeah.
We just want to feel the bass, have a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And that we can deliver all day. But when you come to things like pre-recorded podcasts or, you know, television shows, or, you know, if you're recording an album, things like that, well, now you really want that crystal clear audio. So when I got my system out there, it comes out properly. You know what I mean? And that's the stuff that I would love to learn about, because eventually I think I talked about it. So people that don't know, I met you on Saturday, right?
We had a very, very lengthy conversation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm a sound nerd, right? I can understand how sound travels and how it works and things like that. But he understands the back end of how all that works. You know what I mean? So together it works pretty well. So what I've always wanted to do is make my company go into mobile stages and get the big concert sound and things like that. So I was talking to him about live engineering. He's like, yeah, well, for live engineering you need this compared to that, and it's really interesting to see how all of it really works together, because a guy like me can plug in 1,000 speakers and do what we got to do, but it's not necessarily going to be that good quality sound that you want. You know what I mean?
And you know, to go off of that, like, there's a lot involved, you know, and not only with the sound, there's with the, you know, the acoustics, there's the again, the physics of it, how sound works, and, you know, especially doing live, if you're trying to make like a stage, doing outside is a lot harder than inside. You know what I mean? A lot, because there's not really a lot of enclosure for the sound to bounce off of. So a lot of the sound that gets projected straight out, the people in the front row may hear you perfectly fine, but then the people all the way in the back, they're not getting anything.
Yeah, so you delay towers and you know, line arrays actually aim with different timing and all that stuff. It gets very intricate.
And what's funny about that is I just recently learned about that, about the delay timing thing, because I believe I was watching a video one time where they said they do that a lot with, like, I think orchestra or something, you know, like for the people in the very, very back, they'll you know, like, they obviously treat the stage, make sure it sounds good, and they'll put the speakers in the back, and they will delay it so that way it's like timed right as the people in the front are hearing it. So
which is super cool.
Exactly. It really makes your mind wander. You're like, oh man, I didn't know this involved with sound. Like, I thought it was like just put a speaker there and
Yeah,
hear it. That's
exactly.
it, you know?
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a play in December. We're running sound for it, right? We're not DJing, just running sound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fairly large room. And we talked about this on Saturday, but we're going to actually be running a main setup and then several sets of delays around the room so we can have that sound hit everybody at the same time. So for people to understand, so let's say it's a 160 foot, I believe, venue long, and I think it's 100 feet wide, I think it was. But so if you're in the very back row compared to the front row, sound hits you just a little bit different, right? And you might get some echo back there, and it might get muddy in the rear. So if you run a delay speaker, it actually sends that same signal out to another speaker with a slight like millisecond delay, which makes it all hit you at the same time, so you get a better sound, right?
Yep.
So things like that is just it blows me away how crazy this stuff kind of works.
Yeah, there's actually one thing to look into is there's this thing called inverse square law, which basically helps with the positioning of speakers. And to sum it up, it basically just goes over how, and I know we talked about this briefly, where you got to think of sound waves like water, or, you have your peaks and you got your troughs and all that. So if you have two peaks that come together, it's going to amplify the signal. It's going to make it sound louder. And then if you have one positive peak and one negative that come together, it's going to cancel out. And that's what phase cancellation is. And that's like one of the number one issues when it comes to live sound or even just recording.
So phase cancellation, like what is phase like?
So
what does that sound like?
So sound waves, all right, just to make it as simple as possible, imagine you have a piece of paper and you draw, a line right down the middle, right? That's your center. That's where no sound is.
Right.
It's completely quiet. Then you draw a line, you go up positive, then down negative, and then back up to the center of the line. That's one cycle,
right.
Okay? So you have the positive and the negative peaks. The phase cancellation, if you had another signal coming in that matched that sine wave that you just made, it'll amplify it. It'll make it, I believe it's like 3 dB that it'll make it louder.
Got you.
Now, if you inversed it and you had that one coming in, the other one coming in, it'll actually cancel it out to where you won't hear anything. Now, I've heard of this before, but I literally seen it while I was in school. One of my instructors, he was like, all right, look, we loaded up the DAW. He's got the one track there, make a copy of it, and then flip the signal. If you flip the signal and you play them both at the same time, even though it is physically playing the signal, no sound will come out your speakers.
Yeah,
because it literally just cancels it.
They do that in vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Sound cancellation in the speakers now.
And the headphones too.
Oh, that's how they do that.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's how a lot of the noise
okay.
canceling headphones, they literally have a microphone that will pick up the signal, invert it, and cancel what's outside so you don't hear it.
Because I have some because I shoot. So my truck right now I actually got some headphones that it like it hears a pop, it like makes it quiet. But while I'm doing everything, like I can hear birds chirping and everything. But that is I never thought about how that actually works.
That's why
so cool.
And also, like, I don't know if it's phasing how it works there, but you notice how when we do DJ gigs, right, and I bring the big subwoofers out, I try to couple them together, right? So if you spread them apart, we were talking about on Saturday, so the low notes go in more omnidirectional. Like, if here's a subwoofer, it's not going that way; it's coming around the whole thing, right? Kind of goes like a drop in water, compared to the high notes where you can actually kind of direct. So if you have two subwoofers together, it makes that note just a little bit more powerful, right? If you separate them, here's a sub and here's a sub. When it hits here, like this area, it's called the power valley, right? And alleys, right? So this section will be slammed hard, but right here you won't hear enough.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's why,
wild.
So when I see people running subs that have, a sub on a side and a sub on a side and their speakers on top, it doesn't sound as good as if they put the subs together.
It's got a lot to do with like the energy of the sound. That's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. The lower notes, they have not as much energy as the higher notes do. That's the reason why they're omnidirectional, because it's literally just rumbling around. You could place the sub anywhere and it'll sound the same for the most part.
Frequency.
Yeah. But then the higher ones, they have such high energy that they're directed. And
that's why we were talking about the other day, because looking at equipment, and I was like, well, you're going to need more subs than tops. Typically, you know what I mean? Because if you want to have that deep punch bass, normally you want like a 2-to-1 ratio. You know what I mean? So you want to have a lot more subwoofers to bring that sound where it's got to be to match your tops.
And that's when it talks about the drivers being in this.
Right.
Like, we got a nice driver, but what's the bass looking like?
Exactly right. And so
Okay,
then we get into like cardioid subwoofers. This is a cardioid microphone. So people that don't know a cardioid microphone, you want to explain that?
Oh, thank you. Because I was like,
all right. So cardioid is think of it like a heart shaped. Okay. So around in front of here, it's shaped like a heart. part, right? So it picks up everything around this area right here, right?
Got you.
It doesn't pick up what's going on behind me. So if I put the microphone behind, or my voice behind me, you're not going to hear much.
Right.
Same kind of concept with a cardioid subwoofer setup. So you can have two subwoofers that are typically the same on a delay, and it gets technical. But basically what that's doing, you're more aiming the sound, but it takes a minimum of two to do that.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So QSC, like we like speakers. Like QSC has got
QSC is a good speaker.
I love QSCs, right? We run EVs, but I love QSC. But they have a dual 12 subwoofer that's omnidirectional, like not a cardioid, so you feel it everywhere. They also have one that's slightly upgraded that's a cardioid system, so you can stand right behind this thing, and this thing's pumping the juice out, but you hear nothing, right? As soon as you get in front of this bad boy, it's hitting you hard.
And see, that's good for like DJs because
like we get blasted behind
that. Live bands too.
Yeah,
like,
you get blasted.
Because if you got the guy, the lead singer, he's blaring out, and I know I've run into that problem when recording. So like if I'm, I got my audio interface hooked up, and I got a direct monitor going on, I can hear myself as I'm going. Like even now, I can hear myself in headphones. But if there's a slight delay in there, it throws you off.
Oh yeah,
well,
literally.
And if you're also running a band, so rappers want to feel it anywhere, right? They're gonna want to feel that bass and get to the music, right? It's a little different. If you have a live band behind you, that bass is gonna mess with that snare drum. You know what I mean? Or if someone's on like a banjo or even a piano, it's really gonna mess with it. So you want to really direct that bass away from the soundstage. Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot that's involved. Like I said, between the physics of it, the acoustics, the gear, the equipment, what it can put out, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So, and most people don't realize it. Like you mentioned earlier, and when it comes to your average consumer, they're just like, just sound. I can hear it or I can't. That was a big thing for me when I was looking at headphones early on. Again, going to the different models that are out there. At one point in time, Beats were big. Everybody was like, man, Beats headphones, this and that. And it's like a lot of those, even some of the name brand headphones, the reason why they sound better is because its frequency chart, they put certain emphasis on certain frequencies. Like they might up the bass naturally. So when you play your song through it, you hear it's really boomy. You're like, oh, this sounds good. Whereas you have these other headphones where they might be more flat on the low end and it doesn't sound as boomy.
They got their own built-in DSP essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So every equipment is different. It has a certain aspects to it that you need to look at. Microphones too. You're talking to a microphone. One microphone might make you sound a little more deep and throaty. The other one might be more just tinny and flat.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Did you see what Beats did to their headphones to make them seem like they're more quality than they really were? Did you see this?
No.
I heard about this.
Yeah, a lot of people go by weight, right? So if you feel some weight, it feels like you got a quality product here, right? Well, people start looking into the Beats headphones, and they found out that the strap over top, there was actually a weight built into that strap, so it felt heavier than it really was to give the perception of quality behind it.
Yeah, also you just get a good name. It's like,
Right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like a lot of these companies, they take advantage of like the ignorance that a lot of people are like, oh, it looks good, feels good, sounds good, that's it.
You know what my dad used to say? Like, I would be like, oh, I'm gonna try this drink out. I was like drinking, I can't remember what it was, but it was I don't want to say what it was, but I think I know what it was.
You can say it.
Oh, okay. It was like vitamin water. It's like a vitamin water. And I'm like, and then my dad's like, oh, I do like the Triple X one. That one's good. The pomegranate. I like that one. But it was like some of the other ones, and it was like, it's a healthier drink, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then my dad's
marketing.
like, but I was like, it's not gonna taste that good. And it's like, I was like, well, if it doesn't taste that good, it must be good for you. And he's like, just because it don't taste good doesn't mean it's good for you, bro. Right. And, and that was like a marketing thing too. It's like, it doesn't taste that great, but it all the things it's got in it.
It's doing its thing. It's working.
Yeah.
Well, I think when 50 sold that brand to Coke, I think it was the vitamin water.
Yeah, Coke or Pepsi. I can't remember.
He's like, this is really healthy for you. Okay, 50. If you say so, right?
It's
got
just
synthetic
juice. Sugar.
It's just juice. That's all it is.
That's the part of it. You gotta do your research. Because. There's hundreds, and I had a guy that I used to work with that his approach to the audio, the guy I talked about earlier that got me into going to the school, his approach was I would go to his studio and he'd have like $10,000 just worth of equipment that he just bought over the years, and his approach was, I want it to sound better. Just let me get a different equipment, a different speaker, different microphone, different plug-in, whatever. And I told him, I was like, look, just buying more stuff isn't necessarily going to make you better. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't polish a turd.
You have to know to use the equipment.
Yeah, you got to know how to do it. You got to know what you're doing, whether it's with music theory or, your arrangements and stuff like that. Once you get that fundamentals down, then you go from there. Like my approach is use what you got You know what I mean? Like, even if it's just, if you went ahead and bought FL Studio or Logic or Pro Tools, use what it has, you know, maximize your knowledge of it, figure out all the nooks and crannies of it. Then once you do that, then you move on to something better, and then you're that much better for it because you know what you're doing.
Well, the good thing is if you know the back end, then you can enhance the front end.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, let's be honest though, you can buy shit speakers and it's gonna sound like shit, no matter what you do to it.
Yeah.
Right? So you still gotta be able to know what to purchase there. But yeah, if you know how to process it, it's just a different world.
Also, it's just like the venue and stuff like that too. Like,
well, see, what we're working outside in big venues.
Yeah,
you know, he's working
you
recording studios. That's different.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Your venue is nature.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the wind, the weather is
we do places like we do mostly weddings, right?
Okay.
And there's a place out here. It's called the Rustic Barn. It's one of my favorite places to go to, but it's a sound nightmare, and you'll get this, man. It's huge. What is it? Like 60 by 120 or something like that. It's a huge room. It's
high
polished
ceilings.
marble floors, wood walls, super tall wood ceiling, no sound deadening anywhere.
Yep.
So I'm going to run a different setup the next time I go, but when you go there, it's great right here in front of the booth, and then it just gets echoey and lost within 30 feet. You know, so the venue does make a big difference.
And then we did a gig in December. It was a small, nice dance floor, and it was carpeted. And then, like, I was like, this sounds amazing.
It sounds so good.
Yeah, like, this is where it's at.
Yeah, and that's the thing people don't understand.
Yeah,
you just gotta know how to run that audio.
No, they don't. And the best way, I guess, to explain it to most people is if you want to hear the difference whenever we refer to like reflections and reverbs, is go to your closet, clap your hands. Then after that, go to your bathroom, clap your hands.
Yeah,
You'll hear the difference.
Yeah,
you hear that little like. It's the reason why a lot of people sound good singing in the shower.
Yeah.
You know, people they sound good. Yeah, you got that reverb bouncing around everywhere.
I'll be killing. I'll be like Chris Stapleton up in there. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like, yo.
You'll be singing no matter where you are, Larry.
Yeah, you're right. I don't even care how I sound either.
Right. So what brought you to this area? Where are you from?
So I'm originally from New Jersey.
Okay.
I went ahead.
Which part of New Jersey though?
Patterson.
North
Jersey.
North, like out in the woods?
No,
Okay.
no, city.
Like New Brunswick, like that area?
Yeah, I think New Brunswick's like about maybe 10 minutes. We're about 10 minutes from the bridge.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're a city. We're not down south like toward Vineland area. That's all like the woods and all that stuff.
I got a few friends that are like they're like, I'm from New Jersey, but they drive trucks.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's the thing, like, and it's funny because if you literally talk to most people that are from the northern part or even like northern Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, like all those areas, it's like just those areas exist.
Yeah.
Everything else does not exist. And except for Florida.
Yeah.
That's it. Florida is like our going out of country. Like,
right.
You know,
right,
like
right.
that's, you want to go, I just want a vacation. You want a country? No, I went to Florida.
You know that like Massachusetts people, they hate Connecticut. Did y'all know that?
I don't like anything northeast. So it doesn't matter.
It's crazy. I was visiting up there, and then I was like, I met some friends up in Boston, right? Hung out. And then I was getting ready to go to Connecticut, and they're like, "Yo, fuck that boy." I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" And then so now every time that I meet somebody from Massachusetts, you know, I'm like, "Yeah, how you feel about Connecticut?" And it's always just negative. They're like, "That place sucks." I have no idea.
Place.
Yeah, I'm like, "Yo, what's going on, bro?" It's not like I don't know. It all blends together.
Yeah, I've ran into that a lot with the guys from New York that moved down to Jersey.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because I swear they come from there and they act like they're the fucking biggest
Bees
dick.
Knees.
Like, you know, I'm from New York. Like, bro,
I'm from Brooklyn, Bronx.
Yeah,
You
like,
from the Bronx?
Yeah.
You could have been from the border of it, like
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, that was a big thing from up there. It's funny.
So what brought you here, though?
So yeah,
My bad.
no, you're good. So 2008, joined the Marines, and from there I was all over East Coast first, then switched over to the West Coast. I was in San Diego, California, up there. Me and my wife, we lived there pretty much about 4 or 5 years. We were there. Then after I got out, I decided to move back to Jersey for a while because California is super expensive. You know, it's like 12%, I think, sales tax. I mean,
I don't like
it's-
it.
if you're not making six figures, you were not living there.
That's
you know?
that's 30. I think it's like if you're making $100,000, it's comparable to 30,000.
Really? Is that the
it's-
difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
It's
look it
bad.
up. It's
Yeah.
so bad.
It's bad. Like even going to McDonald's, you're spending probably $15. Like for like probably a Big Mac, quarter pounder meal. Like it's expensive.
You know what though? The funny thing is, I take my wife was out of town this last week, right? And I'm hanging out with my daughters, having a good old time. And the kids, we're out doing. I can't remember what we're doing. We're going to do something. And they said, "Hey, let's get some burgers." I said, "Okay, cool. We'll stop and grab some McDonald's, right?" back in the day, McDonald's was what, $12 and everyone's full, like Taco Bell, right? We go over there. I could buy everyone food. It was $37. Like, what?
We got McDonald's at the house.
Yo, we ran into that problem. I think it was like a couple days ago with Cookout. Because like we usually will go to Cookout and we'll just get like 5 of everything. 5 fries, 5 nuggets, and it usually runs up to like $30. And I'm like, all right, cool. $30.
Sure,
That's it. And I think the other day we just got like 4 nuggets, 2 fries, and like just like 5 of the shakes they have.
Yeah.
And it was like $60. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
like
that's like Five Guys though. Five Guys is so expensive.
Well, Five Guys made me mad.
Because
right?
it's not real cheesburgers and it's super expensive.
No. It wasn't that. It was.
Not to mention they got to rethink
hype.
their name too.
Right? Yeah.
What you want? I want 5 Guys.
Yes. Okay.
I want 5 Guys in my mouth right now.
Yo.
Right? Like,
So I'm like, I got me, 4 homies. What's up? But I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I'm in high school. I'm a senior. I'm working at a pizza place. Hungry Howie's. Down in Mississippi, and I don't got a lot of money. I'm driving 30 miles to get to high school. And then I got to drive 15 miles more to the south to get to my work, and I drive back at the end of the night. So, and I drive a 95 truck. So I'm not getting great gas mileage, right? This is 2011, and I'm like, cool. Somebody's like, they got a Five Guys. I'm like, all right. I hear this is great burgers. You know what I'm saying? I'll go $11.68 in high school
for a cheeseburger.
Yo.
Like no fries,
and
just a cheeseburger.
I was mad. I was upset. I didn't eat one for like years after that until like I think I was like a corporal. So like it was like 2015 before I ate another Five Guys burger.
Honestly, dude, I went to Five Guys like twice. The first time I went, I was like, oh my God, this better be good. And it wasn't that great.
Like,
and the other time I was with somebody, I think it was for a business meeting with somebody. Oh, let's meet at Five Guys. Okay, cool. Shit. I don't want to go to Five Guys.
Y'all want to know the best burger in the world's at? People,
Sonic.
no, it is at a place in Tokyo.
Really?
Yeah, in Akasaka. So I used to live in Akasaka. I was MSG.
Okay.
So, man, it was awesome. It's called Authentic Burger. And I was like, I heard the name. I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be whack.
Authentic burger from not America?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Right. You walk in, it's kind of got like a I don't know, 2000s, like it's like a 2000s restaurant that's got like, memorabilia from like the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. And they're like playing like, pop punk, 2000 pop punk. And I'm like, okay, it's like, they're trying to
55.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, all right. So I sit down and I'm like, all right, let me get a burger. So I got a double cheeseburger. It was like it's an avocado on a bacon, all this lettuce, and I bit into that burger, and it was the best thing I've ever had. They seasoned the meat. The meat was seasoned. You know how like people just make a burger like they'll just here's a burger. It's got a little bit of salt on it. No, it was seasoned like perfectly, and it was juicy. And my mouth is watering right now. It was the best burger I've ever had. Next best burger is Hodad's.
Taking a trip.
Like you had Hodad's, right?
Yeah. No, Hodad's? No,
you didn't have Hodad's when you were out there?
No.
What is Hodad's?
Hodad's is like my second favorite
Where's
burger
this
spot. It's in, they have 2 in San Diego. They have one in downtown. They have another one in Pacific Beach.
Yeah, never met.
Oh, it's the line.
I was going to say, the one place I miss from California more than anything is Jack in the Box. I was like,
I've never been to Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box.
You know how much Jack in the Box I ate a couple months ago? I was in Yuma. Oh, boy.
I used to get that little breakfast sandwich they had where they have like the egg that was in there.
Oh, yeah.
You eat it. Yeah,
really.
Jack in the Box is good.
Yo, you got it, man. It's so like
Is it in California?
Yeah, it's in
I'm
California.
never gonna eat it.
Yeah. Oh well, I was in Arizona and I was eating mine.
Okay, I'll go to Arizona.
Oh yeah, this man loves Arizona.
I'm from Arizona.
Yeah,
I want to go back so bad, dude. So bad, I want to go back to Arizona. I'm done with this place, bro. So I've been here since the Marine Corps since 03. So it's been 20 years I've been here, and I was never wanted to stay here. It just kind of happened, and now I'm like, babe, let's get the hell out of here.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Jacksonville itself definitely has character. That's like one thing that I don't think you'll really get other than like New York or like Chicago or whatever. Like it
Have
definitely.
You been to Tampa?
Tampa, no.
Yo, I love Tampa. Yo, you gotta go to Tampa. All right, Tampa is a big city. It's the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a military branch, but it's just so compact and it does like everything. Like think about it. It was the sports city when the Rays won, Lightning won, and Tampa Bay Bucks. They all won the same year.
Oh, shit.
Look
I
it
didn't
up,
know
dude.
that.
Yes,
Oh,
like
man.
it was. I think it was 2019. 2019
Yeah,
or
that's
2020.
when Brady won last.
Yeah.
Right?
They all won. That is crazy in one city.
Yeah.
People were going wild there.
Like,
Wild.
Even having just booze got drank.
Yeah.
Did you see Brady on the boat?
Yeah, I saw
He
it on
threw
the boat. Yeah. He threw it to Gronk, right?
Yeah, he threw it to somebody. I don't
I think it
remember.
was Gronk. No, I think Gronk threw it to Brady, and they're like,
no.
he had the Super Bowl trophy. Like, catch, motherfucker. I
I'm
was like,
telling you,
that's some
gotta
Florida
get
shit
that
right
one.
there.
Oh yeah.
You know the headlines. You know, Florida man does this. Florida man does that.
yeah.
Oh, all the time.
Florida man throws Super Bowl trophy off boat,
Yo,
and
and
is
I'm
eaten by sharks or eaten by alligator.
I'm going back, dude. I'm going
I
back.
tell you, like that's all I ever hear. Like every time I ever see something on the news with Florida, anything crazy is like Florida this, Florida that. I'm like, God.
Yeah, but
Was
great.
Was it Florida that one guy died making a TikTok? He was on the truck. Did you see that?
It's a bunch of people died making
Yeah,
TikToks now.
like they had a video. This dude
Yeah.
was on the semi truck dancing, like making a TikTok, and didn't see the overpass coming and got took out by the overpass.
What? So hold on. It still got posted on TikTok.
No, I think they played it. They played it on the
I was like,
on the news
damn.
channel. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? It was
Yeah, I
crazy.
didn't see that one.
people do the craziest stuff.
You ever done Florida man in your name?
No,
All right, you guys talk. I'll find it. I'll get yours. All right, let's go.
I'm telling you right now, like people will do the craziest stuff to get that little that little hit of endorphins from being famous
Definitely
or
puts the city on the
famous.
map.
Yeah, man. Like just the stuff. But what happens is you get the Bad Barbie, whatever her name is.
Yeah,
You know, the Catch Me Outside girl. You get stuff like
Yeah.
that, and it's like, well, how do you keep people from wanting to do this when there's so much? Hey, you should do this. Look how much money she has.
Mm-hmm.
You
so
know what I mean?
that brings up a pretty good point. So I seen her, and I'm thinking that was it. That's her 5 minutes of fame,
Nope.
and that was it. All of a sudden, she's coming out with Gucci flip flops, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, why is this a thing? So
She outlasts Lil Pump.
yeah, I'm like, and it's funny because like I don't really know a lot of these newer rappers' names. Like growing up, Nas, Cassidy, Biggie, Tupac, like all those guys used to listen to, and like a lot of these guys now they come up to this is Lil Durk, this is Lil this guy, Lil that guy. I'm like, who the hell are these people?
Yeah, who are you?
But some
Yeah.
of them,
Some of them have good
like
music.
You heard Corday?
Mm-mm.
Corday is he kind of talks with a lisp,
Yeah.
but he's got like he does like the little dreads. He got little dreads. Yo, he hops on with like any of the hard hitters from like
Yeah.
that like our time, like the
When
2000s
music was
and
actually
everything like
story
that.
and good.
Well,
yeah.
he
When
he
Napster
does
was
it.
still a thing.
He does it. You have him. Like it's just that the mainstream is so into we're young and we don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That like when you have like Boogie with a Hoodie, West Side Boogie. Like West Side Boogie is one of my favorite rappers, and because I'll listen to his like he had like a song called Silent Ride Home, and it basically the story is like he's riding with his girl, right, and he's being unfaithful on his phone. He passes out, she picks it up, and she reads the text messages, and so he's going back to the house, and like he doesn't really know anything, but she's playing songs like saying shit like, and he's like, oh no, but he makes a whole song about that.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, yo, that's like, and he has a bunch of other stuff too, but like a song called like Sunroof, where he's just talking about just like it's like the West Side, he's just like, it's just like this feel good, like he's like,
and that's what I like songs that have a story to
Some
it,
emotion to
feeling
it.
and emotion is great, but a lot of these guys now it's sex, money, drugs, and
Yeah.
it's just like, all right, bro,
yeah,
whatever.
like I don't listen to NBA Youngboy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't listen to.
Oh
Yeah. Well, so we were at a spot, and they're like, "Hey, play this song." Well, he didn't go to the clean version.
I didn't
And he
know.
he went
I
to
didn't know
YouTube,
the-
and it was like NBA Youngboat, which is just the N word, the F word, is over and over. And he was just like, "Ooh." Next song.
All right. So all right. So I've been looking this up. Right, Naked Man, and I put your name in it. All right.
All right.
So this guy's Larry Gardner. All right. So Naked Man arrested after banging on house with barbell. Deputies say. I'm gonna sum this up. A naked man carrying a barbell is accused of threatening and to kill another man shortly after a burglary. Okay, so that's Larry banging doors on barbells. All right.
I can see me doing it.
And then we got Juan right here. Florida man pulls over officer to ask for directions. Get busted for DUI.
Oh my God! You know that's so funny. That almost happened to me. Real life. Real life. That's so funny. Yeah.
When are you doing it, bro?
Yeah. So there was this one time, like, okay, you ever had this feeling where like you feel like somebody's just looking out for you?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So I get that a lot, you know. But there was this time, like I've had plenty of opportunities. I actually got a DUI one time in California, and I had plenty of opportunities before that DUI to be like, hey, you need to wake the hell up, stop doing this. So there was one time. I was coming from the gas lamp downtown, and I was heading back home, and I was following my GPS, and my GPS literally set me up. It took me down the one way the wrong way. It was like, oh, go this way. So I'm like, by the time I realized, I was like, oh shit. I was all right. Let me just keep going. Maybe I'll get out of it. I get to the end, and there's a cop just pulled up right there, and I was like, and yeah, he's looking at me. I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, fuck it. Just kept going. Drove past him. He pulls me over, comes up to me, and you know, of course, he's like, "You have anything to drink?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had like one beer." And he's like, "All right." And luckily, he didn't make me get out. He was just like, you know, doing a little finger thing, and then he was like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Get out of here." And then like, I'm fucked up. I'm drunk. So I asked him. I was like, "Hey, by the way," I was like, "Do you know where I can get to, you know, whatever highway it was?" And he's like, all right, yeah, go this way. And I'm just like, all right, thanks. Drive off. And I'm like, oh my God, Kimbo just asked the cop, drunk us have a direction. So it's funny that you said that because I was like, that literally almost happened to me.
Well, the funny thing is, all right, so Larry knows me. He knows I don't really trust the government for nothing, right? I'm a conspiracy theorist to a point, right? This is funny. Florida man, Joel Benjamin, right? Or Benjamin Joel, sorry. Florida man sprayed his neighbor in the face with a water gun full of his own urine because he thought she was spying on him for the government. This guy's my hero. I love this guy.
Jesus.
He's like, I'm going to teach you. Hold on.
Right?
I'm going to drink this water all day. Hold up.
Little super soaker urine.
And he looked completely sane on the mugshot. Of course he did.
Yo, Soulja Boy would be impressed. All right. He's like, super soaked that. Yo.
Oh, God, man.
Yeah, man. But, yeah, man. So do you like so we were talking about you work on the Osprey, right? And I'm an Osprey guy myself. Like is like your thing, are you like mechanically inclined? Like do you like working on stuff?
Yeah, oh yeah, I love working with my hands. That was a big thing for me. Yeah, really?
Yeah, I'm like my dad is a mechanic, bro.
Yeah.
Mechanic.
I say, did they give you options when you took the ASVAB?
Yo, they gave me options, but you see, I'm a crew chief.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go fly.
Okay.
Because that's what I want to do. And they're like, psych, you know what I'm saying? You got to go work on it too. And I'm like, I'm out there, I'm working. I kind of got a short stick. And then I went and did my other stuff. And then I came back. And then like, you know, I can work on it. Like I'm not incompetent, but I'm a C+ mechanic.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. And then, you know, you have these A+ mechanics out there like killing it.
Duct tape,
like,
hopes and dreams.
I'm talking about CDQAR, like as they pick up corporal.
Yeah.
Well, here goes the acronyms again.
Collateral duty, quality assurance representative.
Yeah,
I was going to come with it, bro.
We're going to have like little subtitles pop up.
So we're all Marines here, right? But we're still, I don't care.
Everywhere.
There's this acronym for goddamn everything.
Marine Corps loves their acronyms. Love their acronyms.
The only one that I know that's carried on to civilian life is BFG.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
Or the BFS, or, you know, the BFH, give them the big fucking hammer. You know what I mean? It's like, other than that, it's just like, what the hell are you saying? Because you can be in whatever your MOS is, and I'll have whatever acronym, but to you it means something completely different.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny because that makes me we're actually binge watching The Walking Dead right now.
Oh, you're going back to Walking Dead.
Yeah, like we went because before the new seasons came out, we watched up to 8. So literally, we're watching all of it now, all the way up to I think it's like 11 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
is that to do with the dreads?
Ezekiel, I think is his name. Yeah. No, but the other guy, Eugene, is like, I imagine like if we were talking all the acronyms and stuff, he's the little smart coward dude.
Oh, is he the one that makes the bullets?
Yeah, the one that makes the bullets.
Okay.
So I can imagine talking like him. You know, I was like, just saying all the acronym stuff. I just picture talking like how he does.
Right, you know.
So I watched like I think maybe 12 episodes.
Yeah.
I started watching it season 1, and then I was like, I'm watching it, and then like I kind of like I don't know. I think I just got in the Marine Corps, so I was like super excited about it. I'm like, oh, a zombie thing, and I'm like one of those people that like I'm wary of like things that are popular, and then so like I feel like I've made a good opt out because like. Toward the end, it's like not even about the zombies. It's like you got to do with a baseball bat.
Dude, when it first came out, man, it was on AMC on Sunday nights, I think 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, right?
Yep.
I'm telling you, this was before, you know, you can record all this shit and watch it online, right? But me and my wife would have everything ready to roll, kids in bed, popcorn made, you know, glass of wine ready to roll, to watch the show, and it was a religion for 8 years.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what I mean? Or 5 years, whatever it was. And then we decided to shut off cable one day. Like, it's just too expensive. Lost a job, whatever, life happens, right? So we shut that off, and that was it. Like, we didn't even go back to it after that. And I'm going, well, what the hell happened? Like, what happened? Like season like 6 or 7, right? Like, what the hell happened? And my wife's like, yeah, I don't care. It's like, bro, we were religious into this shit for years.
Like, that's
that's how we were too. And we used to, even after the show, you know how they had those like where the show they'd have the host would be on the stage and they talk with the host. It was like Talking Dead or something.
Yeah, Talking Dead.
Yeah, we used to watch that and just like, like they'd replay some of the scenes. Like,
y'all was nerds.
We was into it. It was catchy, and it's funny because I was talking to a guy today about it at work, and he said he couldn't get into it because it became predictable. It was like new location. Same thing,
It's like certain shows, right? It's here's a problem, let's fix the problem. Or like Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Here's a problem, let's fix the problem. We're gonna fix the problem. It's the hero trope. You ever heard of the hero trope?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we almost fixed it, but we messed up, and now at the end we're gonna fix it. But I love like did y'all ever my favorite ending to a movie? It was the worst ending to a movie. It was The Mist. Yeah, remember the movie The Mist, not the show.
Yeah, I love
but
that
because it was like it was the worst. It's like they made it, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And it left you. It leaves you like
M. Night Shyamalan, I think it is.
Is that not the one where the little boy and the dad?
Yeah, and the dad. But do you remember how it ends?
I wasn't gonna say that.
Yo, it's fine. It's been out for a long time. But yeah, like they evade all these horrible things. It's him, the girl he like fell in love with, this old man, his kid, and they're run out of gas. And he's like, we got 3 bullets.
They had 2 bullets.
No, it was 3 because the old man was there too.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yep. And so he's like, I'll do it. So he shot everybody.
He shot
and
his
then
boy first, the girl.
And then he's sitting there, he's crying, he's like pulling the trigger, and then the army shows up.
Yeah. All of a sudden the mist just goes away.
Yo,
and you're like, wow.
And it leaves you so like.
So when I was selling cars, I was pulling this up here. I used to sell cars for Hyundai up for years and years, right?
That's so wrong.
Wait, what did you hear?
What do you think I said?
It was like, so when I was stealing cars, I was like,
what?
Like, hold on, what?
You know it's a podcast?
that was a different life ago. So we had this Walking Dead Tucson, and I'll show you a picture of this thing. I'll put it on the screen there too. But it had little handprints, like bloody handprints on the back and stuff, right? It was at the Comic-Con locally, and I actually got to meet one of the guys from the show, Dango Wynn. Do you remember that guy?
Dango Wynn, I think I know.
He was that dude right there, little Indian dude.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Cool as shit, dude. I started talking to him, and he starts coming out. He's like, hey, that's a cool car. I was like, oh, man, appreciate you. Didn't think anything of getting a picture, right? And we were just kind of talking. Finds out that he was in the military. We were overseas at the same time. Small world kind of stuff. And I was like, all right, dude, well, hey, I appreciate you. I know you got to get back inside and go to work. He goes, yeah, man, you want a picture at least? I was like, yeah, sure, we'll get a picture. Why not, right? So I kind of felt bad.
This guy's cool, right? He's not even acting like I'm famous.
I don't care, man. I don't care who you are.
You get home, you look him up, you're like, oh, shit.
Yo, I actually, you know who Kayla Harris is?
No,
I've heard the name.
All right, Kayla Harris was a 2-time. I'm pretty sure she got the gold. She got the gold for judo in the Olympics. She's also a badass UFC fighter, but she fights for PFL. Well, I was doing a valet thing, and I can't remember the other guy's name on top of my head, but I was like he pulled up in this big like F-35, and he's like, I'm picking up somebody, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm like, bro, what do you do for work? And I'm like, I can get the feeling like, like, cause I like to fight. So every once in a while I get a feeling like, okay, this guy fights. He's like, I work in the UFC, and like, I was like, oh shit, dude, that's awesome.
You gotta look for the cauliflower ear.
Yeah, I'm like looking, but it's not. It's just the way he's just like, cause he was a slender dude and everything, but he just looked like.
It's one of those that posture.
Well, it's like it's that. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
it's like overly nice. It's like this guy could fuck me up. And so like I'm like, all right, cool, talking to him and everything. He's like, actually I'm meeting Kayla Harris, and this is before I knew who she was. Yeah. And then I'm like, I got a picture. I think I forgot to get a picture where he said, hey, I need you to do me a favor, bro. When she comes out, freak out like you're her biggest fan. So I'm like, bro, I got you, bro. So I like freak out and everything. I wish I would have got a picture. I got a picture with the other guy. I still got it on my phone. But then I'm like a year later, I'm watching Kayla Harris fuck up people on UFC. I'm like, yo, I met her, bro. She came out, she had cornrows and stuff, like blonde hair, cornrows. I was like, yo, she's a beast, bro. I love that lady.
Damn. No, I've never been, but like I met a lot of sports players. I used to sell beer at the Metrodome where the Vikings and Twins used to play. It's gone now, but I used to sell beer there, and I was downstairs as a vendor, making some money, and the players walked by and stuff. I remember I was, I think, 15 or 16. We're there. It was a Monday night game, Vikings versus Packers, right? And Vikings beat the Packers. It's a big deal, you know. And after the game, it was when Dante Culpepper was there. I think it was Randy Moss's one of his first couple years in the league, you know.
Oh, you old.
Yeah, I'm old as shit. I'm old. Yeah. So, it was a while ago. Anyway, so we're just down there, and, you know, they're all excited. And there's a vendor named Wally the Bear Man, okay?
Yep.
So have you ever heard the hot dog guy from Chicago that throws the hot dogs? He goes to the All-Star game for baseball because he gets more votes than anybody on the team. Okay, the vendor gets more votes, right? Mm-hmm. Same with Wally the Bear Man. Okay, so if anybody from Minnesota is going to the All-Star game, it's going to be Wally the Bear Man before a player kind of thing, right? So it's kind of funny. So all the players knew him. Well, after the game, Dante Culpepper comes out and says, "Hey, Wally, whoever wants to go, we're going to be at my house on Wednesday for a barbecue. Bring your friends." Right? And Wally's like, "All right, man, yeah, whatever," right? And he looks at me and goes, "Hey, y'all want to go?" And I had my cousin. He's 15 too at the time, right? I was like, yeah, I want to go to Dante Culpepper's house. Let's do this, right? So it comes up, and now we get there, and I'm in this beat-down old truck. I mean, it's Minnesota truck, right? Dude, it was a little manual 4-cylinder, just rust bucket kind of crap. I think he could have sold it for scrap and sold it more. You know, it was crap, right? So we get through this gate. We're on the list somehow to get to the gate. You know, we get to this house, and this thing is effing huge. I mean, just the most big, beautiful mansion you can ever imagine. And here we are pulling up, and these guys come up looking at us like, "Hey, man, can you go get me a beer?" Like, shit, you know. But a whole Vikings team was there. It was pretty cool. You know, got to see all the guys.
He has to push start it.
Yeah.
You gotta get it. Push it a little bit.
I've done that, actually. Yeah, I've legit done that. Yeah.
It would have been like leaving there. That would have been the best. That would have been like, "Yo, you see these fucking kids?"
Leave it right there.
Yeah.
You take care of this.
You
now.
take it. You got it. Hey, you got money. Can you get that shipped to my house, please? I appreciate you.
Yo, I gotta take a piss. You want to go take a breath? A piss break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Sure.
I'm gonna hold it for you.
You're gonna hold it.
Yeah. It's my turn.
Your turn to go pee?
No, to hold it for you.
All right,
you did it last time.
So I say,
I got you.
Don't make them break out the super
This is
soaker.
part. It is. Yeah, it's just. It is what it is around here, man. We're all friends.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
All right, guys. So while we're on a little break here, Larry just found out. I found out from Larry that he likes warm beer.
Yeah.
No, wait. Hold on. All right. It's not that I like warm beer. It's that I really don't give a fuck. All right.
Yeah, but warm beer
I
tastes
can't.
like pure vomit, man.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, like,
yes.
I didn't know that
nobody
you were
drinks
weak.
beer for the taste.
Y'all all weak. Y'all all weak in here. All right.
Unless Coronas. Coronas are pretty good. I like
You ever had a loaded Corona?
What's a loaded Corona? Is
All
that where you put?
right,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you drink down the neck.
Yep.
And then you put a Bacardi Limon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bacardi in it.
I've done something like that. I think it was tequila though, actually.
Oh, you did tequila?
Yeah, there was a video that I saw where I tried it out. It was like grenadine, like some tequila, like something you put up in there.
That's way too
Flip
much.
it real quick, drink it, and it's good.
Do the Bacardi Limon. You like lemon heads? Remember the old?
Yeah, not my favorite, but
not your favorite. Okay, then no, I had like, I'm not gonna say it on this podcast because some people be listening, but man, I had two. You know, PHA answer. Yeah, I had two, 2 to 3. You know?
Oh yeah, always, always. How much you drink? Once a week.
Yeah, this is the same beer from earlier.
Once a month. If you have any more than 3, you're an alcoholic. So,
2 to 3.
The only drink you should have warm is like
bourbon. Bourbon is supposed to be drink warm.
Yeah.
You put it over ice and you're fine.
Yeah.
Beer,
it goes
dude,
down smoother.
as soon as this thing gets warm, dump it out.
Mm-hmm.
Done with it.
I will drink literally any drink warm. You give me any drink, I'm drinking it warm.
Mm-mm.
What about
I hate
say margarita, but that actually might be okay.
I hate cold alcohol.
Really?
So I do hate cold alcohol.
Yeah.
So if you take like, I have friends that used to take my we're having a party, whatever, and they would take my bottle and put it in the freezer, and I'm like, now I can't drink that. Now I can't even drink that.
What did you do?
Because it turns into syrup. It turns into syrup. I'm like, it's thick. I wanted to slide down.
So you're talking
throat,
so you're talking straight alcohol. So like if you had like a frozen margarita, you drink.
Oh
that.
yeah. Like if it's got ice in
see,
it.
something like that. There's a limit to how cold. Like for me, like I know, like I like Malibu, and I can't. It can't be too frozen.
yeah.
Because you're right.
Like,
it does feel syrupy, and I'm just like, no, I like it where it's like a cool. You know?
Cool, and I can drink cool. But also another thing is I hate ice in drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll get a drink with ice in it. You know, a mixed drink with ice.
I could agree with that.
But like I'm drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get that done. Cause I just have a thing about ice.
Really?
You know? Yeah. Like
I could agree with that.
if you ever see me, well, I think you've seen it. Like when we go to like get some food, I always say I want my drink with no ice. Have you not noticed that?
Well, I do that because I want to actually get my money's worth.
Oh yeah, no, I do it because I just hate ice. Like I have no need for it.
Like I hate it when you want to get a soda, right? And you know,
Oh, yeah,
4/5 of its
them,
ice.
Yeah, if you don't tell them
it's
light
like,
ice.
what the hell am I paying for here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then sometimes if you say, yeah, no ice, they go, well, we have to put ice in it. No.
You also can suck my dick. The kid's out here.
No, she's gone. She just left. Like, good timing. Like, she just walked.
Click, suck
my dick.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I've all of my friends, if they see me with a cup of ice, like a cup with some ice in it, they're like, they fucked up, didn't they? I was like, yeah, they did. Yeah, absolutely.
So I drink bourbon straight with just a little bit of ice. You'll do that
with bourbon with some ice in it?
Yeah.
I would do it for the experience. So if someone says it's like, hey, this is the best way to do it, I'm gonna do it like that to see how I like it.
So the reason I do it because I like they know me, right? I like really strong bourbon, like good, really strong bourbon, right? And what I'll do is I'll put 2 cubes of ice in it and kind of swirl it around and let it sit for a couple minutes, right? So as the water's slowly melting, it's changing the flavor of the bourbon throughout the whole drink. See what I'm saying? So you start with that real harsh bourbon. By the time you get to the end, it's really, really smooth. You know, so it's that's how I drink my bourbon.
Yeah,
you know,
I could agree with that. Like for me, it's more to get it cold, but drink it fast enough so the water doesn't dilute it.
Right.
So it's like I see what you're saying. It changes the
throughout the glass is different. Every sip's different.
For me, it's like cold, drink it fast.
Yo,
like,
hey, every time you say something, it's like your wife's listening to some really good music. She's just like, yep.
So for those of y'all that don't know, we're in the RV deep in the woods, definitely not in my driveway, and you know we got Juan's wife on the couch just chilling behind her with the headphones on, and everything we say that's true. She's like, yeah.
But when I say something, it's like when you try to give a kid medicine.
It's like I'm on a what do they call those things with the lie detectors?
Oh yeah, polygraph.
Some sweat coming down. Like, yeah, be true, man.
So I almost just I almost made a Elijah joke on this one. I was like, oh, it was gonna be like, now you're really in her head.
Yeah. Oh man,
Elijah's listening. He's proud right now. Yeah. What's up, Elijah?
Yeah, what's up, Elijah? that man scares me. I'm gonna grapple with him though. Yeah, so that's my thing. I'll do like the fight, man, and I want to grapple with Elijah because you only get better going against bigger and more skilled people.
Yeah,
but I know I'm gonna lose a lot. 100%.
Do you fight or anything?
See, no, I don't fight. I did wrestle back in high school, and that reminds me. So when I was in high school, the heavyweight cutoff was like I think 215 or whatever, and I was like right at 215, 216. So I was on the heavyweight. The next guy above me was like 270 pounds. So it's like whenever I had to spar with him. So I was like, it was rough, because everybody else other than that was like the next weight down, which he was like 180 pounds or whatever. So yeah, I was like, it was tough whenever.
See, I never got into that stuff. I really wish I did. I think that's a life experience that I'm never gonna be able to understand because I'm almost 40 and I'm broke and stuff, and I'm not gonna go into martial arts.
You got fat.
Yeah. But see, I'm gonna be honest about the whole fat thing. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I told my wife, "said Look, I'm not gonna stay skinny." She goes, "Why?" She goes, "Cause, dude, I'm gonna enjoy life. I'm gonna eat steak. Like I'm gonna be fat, and I'm okay with it."
It's like the first goal: the beard, the belly.
Beard. No, see me.
I don't care.
I wanna stay in like fighting stance. Like I wanna stay. I'm right now. This is the heaviest I've ever been. I'm 198, but I'm trying to get back down to about 185. And I was a killer at 185. Like I loved it.
Yeah, but see, there's a difference though. I mean, you're a single dude. You're still on the prowl. You're still on the hunt. You're doing your life. You know what I mean? I'm married to three daughters.
He said, "I don't give a fuck."
Like,
no, man. Look, I'm happy. Wife's happy. Like it's good. You know what I mean?
True,
it's however you look at it too. Now you're not gonna see my ass at the beach too often. You know what I mean? People can yell Shamu and shit.
Yeah, they trying to push you in the water.
Oh, dude, I'm so scared of water. We talked about last time. Yeah. Do you like the ocean?
I mean, I don't mind it, but yeah, I feel the same way. Like, because I can't swim. I mean, I can stay afloat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
I can swim. So
I barely survived swim call.
Duck.
Barely survived swim call. When we had to do it with the gear, I mean, I was like straight to the bottom.
Oh,
came up, my rifle's down on the floor. I'm like, I'm not getting it.
You know what's funny about that is I'm Czechoslovakian and Mexican, right? My mom's Czech and my dad's Mexican, like from Mexico, right?
That's a mix.
And right? It's Chex-Mex. You know what I mean? So, but my mom said that I was swimming by the age I was 2. Like 2 years old, I was swimming. I was like, of course I did, Mom. So did my dad.
Oh my god!
So I can swim. I can swim, but I don't like the ocean, dude. That stuff scares the hell out of me.
Yo, you saw the squids they be finding?
Yeah.
bigger in this
See,
damn
they're
RV.
getting
Forget all
bigger.
that.
I will
bigger.
say though, that's one of my biggest fears, to like die, like drowning
Yes.
in the middle of the ocean.
Yes.
And just because it's so quiet and peaceful, it's like that, and like space.
But you don't
know
know
what?
Space.
No.
I can do space.
No,
I can't.
no.
Space is
I watched
instant.
Gravity, the movie with Sandra Bullock, and I damn near have an anxiety attack. I'm like,
No, you know what? No, I can. My thing is like anywhere where I'm going to just be. I'm like if it's in a spacesuit, just floating out, in a submarine when I'm just stuck underneath the bottom, or somewhere stuck in a hole where I'm sitting there in my thoughts until I die.
yeah, see, I can't do that.
No, if I get crushed, something eats me.
Did you
whatever.
hear about that submarine that disappeared?
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
Titanic.
It was they're it's like a tourist thing, right?
Yep, they pay like $250,000.
Yeah, $250,000 to go on this little this sub, whatever it is, right? And they go down and they look at the Titanic. Like that'd be kind of cool to do, right?
Yeah, I think I heard
But it
about
disappeared
that.
a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
a couple days ago. Yeah, they're looking for them.
They have
That
19
iceberg,
hours.
The iceberg came back.
Right? Yeah, they had 19 hours of air in there, and like they just can't find them. So they're sunk. I mean, they're done. They're toast. But it's like, holy crap, that's gotta suck. Stuff like that would scare the crap out of me because my mind was racing. I was watching that or reading the article about that, and I'm going, no man, there's a giant squid that grabbed that motherfucker, and they're on the bottom of the
Kraken
ocean
came out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's we were talking about this last time. It's just that there's so little.
Oh yeah.
Of like they find species still in the rainforest.
We haven't discovered the whole thing.
Y'all see? Have you seen those lion killer chimpanzees?
Lion killer?
The lion killer chimpanzees?
No.
See now chimpanzees like what? Like I don't know, 4 foot tall.
Sure.
Yeah, these are like 7 foot tall.
Chimps?
They're huge. Yeah, they're in like the west, like they're in the western rainforest in
this
Africa.
Something new that they just found?
Dude, no, they've known about them. Like, well, it's one of those things where it's like the locals will know about it, and then it'll be like, oh well, we haven't seen it, and then all of a sudden there's pictures of them holding up these huge.
Really?
Ships. Yeah.
Dude,
it's
I haven't
like,
heard about this.
It's like that, and then you have like the conquistadors and stuff. They were like down in South America and stuff, and they were like there's like boiling water. You ever heard about that?
No.
Boiling
There's
water?
Like, there's boiling water. It's like a river of boiling water.
No.
Well, there's a real river of boiling water, and like I can't remember if somebody's gonna yell at me like, oh, it's not Peru, but I feel like it's like Peru or something like that.
Maybe I've heard of something that there's like a pit of like endless fire.
That is in
like
Kazakhstan or
yeah,
it's one
like,
of the stands.
It's like a crater
I heard
that's
about
just
that.
constantly
Yeah.
burning.
It's
Yeah,
called
yeah.
Hell's Gate or something like that.
Well, Hell's Gate? I think there's also a place in Pennsylvania that's still on fire. That coal mine.
Oh yeah, the whole town.
The whole town. You
had
heard
to
about
move
that,
out.
right? Did you hear about that one?
The one in Pennsylvania?
Yeah,
No.
Yeah.
The whole town was a coal mining town, right?
Yeah.
And they were doing the thing. A whole town was built around this mine, and the mine caught on fire, right? Well, there's so much coal down there, it's still burning. And it was
burning.
Oh, shit.
70 years ago or something like that. They say it's going to burn for the next 100 and some years. I mean, it's just constantly burning.
Good job, humans.
Yeah, great job, right? Which is really weird though, because you can see before and after pictures of the town, right? You got Main Strip, little hill, and all these little houses and Main Drive kind of thing. And if you go look now, they're gone because after it happened, I think either the country kicked in or the state kicked in, and they picked up the houses and relocated to another city. So it's weird as shit. You look at the exact same road that's got one little building left, and it was just big, massive sprawling town.
Yeah.
Super weird.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Super weird stuff.
The coal mining towns is crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of coal mining, y'all want to know one of my favorite movies?
Coal miner's daughter.
Blood Diamond?
Wow, we just, and I have a wholesome one. I'm like, oh, October Sky is amazing. It's about people going, y'all know that. Oh, what's his name? The Rocket Man. That man was a Nazi.
What the hell are you talking about?
Forgot. Not. I was gonna say Otis fucking Meyer, bro. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm hungry.
I'm thinking Elton John. You said
what's
Rocket Man.
his
I was like, what are
name?
you talking about? Dude?
It's anyway. After I think it was like Paperclip, wasn't it?
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
So after the World War II, right after that one, they went and they like got a whole bunch of smart Nazis and brought them over. And,
Terrible idea.
And the way they did it, and they were doing bad stuff. Not all of them. I can't say all of them. I don't know. But a lot of the scientists we got from the 1940s that are German, Nazis, including the one of the biggest rocket.
I think I heard about this.
Rocket scientists we knew. We got so many of them. I think it was called Paperclip, Operation Paperclip. You looking at that, you're gonna be like, what the heck? Because If you go down to Argentina, have you heard about go down to Argentina and you go into the mountains?
No.
There's Nazi like towns down there.
Really? In Argentina?
In Argentina.
Well, I heard a lot of them evacuated there after the war.
Well, yeah,
Like,
they left. They went to South America. Yeah, and, I'm telling you, and I'll
look it up.
Yeah, I met a German that owned a like a hotel in Honduras. What the hell are you doing here, bro?
Right. Yeah.
What the hell are you and your family doing here, bro?
Right.
He wasn't he wasn't super old, but the man was like in his 70s. And I'm like, what are y'all doing here in the mountain in Honduras?
Well, people are saying that George Soros was actually a troop for the Nazi regime back in the day. Like
People are saying that?
Yeah, you didn't see about
Well,
that?
I don't know. I know he's old.
He's old as shit. But no, there's supposedly pictures of a guy named George Soros. You know, of course, he looks way younger now.
But yeah, but there was also like
Yeah.
Nazis that, their parents said you have to go fight for Germany because you're German.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, was he a Nazi or did somebody have to go fight?
That's a good point.
Well,
I'm a conspiracy guy, so I'm going to say he was a Nazi.
oh, okay, cool.
Just because.
It makes it more fun.
It's more fun.
Let's
go with that. You know, it's kind of like...
You got any conspiracies?
Oh, I'm big on conspiracies.
Oh.
But for me, my favorite. Well,
your wife just looked over here like, oh, God, here we go.
No, I think I'm more big on like space, time travel, black holes, all that kind of stuff.
What's your feeling on time traveling, dog?
So after much deliberation and research that I've done, Stephen Hawking is one of my favorites. I've read a lot of his books.
Black holes and stuff. Yep.
I think that time travel is based on perception. So it's not the way we think. At least right now, with what we know now, I don't think time travel is possible. So the example that I use is, imagine it, how they say, okay, the sun's light takes 8 minutes to hit us, right?
Yep.
So if the sun were to blow up, technically we wouldn't know for at least
8
8 minutes, right?
Right.
8 minutes to pop. Oh shit!
8 seconds, yeah.
So now imagine at that second you were able to time travel to a planet 5 light years away.
Okay.
You look back, that sun is still going to be there at that exact moment, and it's going to take 5 years for that event to reach you.
So what you're saying is every time you look up at the night sky, you're time traveling. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, you're basically
you're
looking
right.
in the past.
I can see
yeah.
that.
So
but
that's
is
the
that,
only
is that looking
way.
in the past, or is that just a delayed image?
I think that's just a delayed image.
Yeah, and that's where
You
it
know what I
gets a
mean?
little tricky. Like, I guess to really like.
I think you said philosophically, it's time travel.
Yeah.
Well, then, okay, on that same theory, going back to our speaker, what we talked about with speakers, right? So if you're in the very back of a venue, are you looking at the past? And
Right.
hearing the past?
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Philosophically,
saying?
yeah.
That's why it's like, I don't see that. Now, one thing I've always thought about is, let's say you can zoom away from Earth at light speed. Boom, out of there.
Don't do the flash thing again.
Flash thing?
The flash thing. It's like, yo, when the wheels start spinning, after it gets so fast, it starts to go back the other way. Yo, that's an optical illusion.
No, I'm serious. Okay, no.
That is on video.
No, let's do this though. You're going away from Earth, but you have a great camera or telescope, whatever. You can still see Earth perfectly. Okay, if you're going away from Earth faster than the image is hitting you, are you watching it go in reverse? Are you watching everything happen backwards?
So that is something that, other than the instant travel, that was the second part where I said, okay, technically off that logic, if you were going, because they say the speed of light, right? It's supposed to be the fastest. That's our constant speed limit,
we can
right?
measure, right? Yeah.
So technically, if you were able to go faster than speed of light and you were traveling, and you look back, technically, according, at least I believe, that you should see everything going in reverse.
Right. Thank you.
Everything should.
So what's the difference?
Oh wait, you know what?
man.
Okay, you know what?
Because
if you're going faster than
Right.
the
That's
speed
what I'm
of
saying.
light.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
I'll shut my ass
So
up.
there's a couple videos that I've come across that actually explain this really well, like
Yeah.
even better than I thought. And I'm
That
like,
makes-
oh
that
shit,
makes
like, this
sense.
is crazy. There's
Yeah.
one about like dimensions that I've seen. There's another one also about time travel. So
You think ghosts come from another dimension?
yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
I think it's
so
quantum tunneling.
you really gotta open up your mind to the possibilities. Is the best way to explain it. So other than like, because we've proven like time dilation, that's a thing.
Gravity waves came out of the black hole.
Even that still, I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Is the fact that we can do stuff like that, where it's like, all right, if you go by a black hole and you come back, an hour could have passed for you, but 10 years could have passed for Earth.
I was on that movie.
Yeah, that's
Wasn't there a movie
relative.
like that?
That's Interstellar.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
But like, just the fact that is real, it's crazy. It's like, how? I still don't understand how.
I don't understand how gravity affects time.
Yeah.
That's what blows my mind. Like, why does the pull of an object affect time? Because time is a man-made thing.
Mm-hmm.
The measurement of time is man-made. Time is not man-made.
Okay, there you go.
And
okay,
space
fine.
and time are one.
But that's what I'm saying. But man-made year is a man-made year. Like
but that's just a
our
measurement.
form of measurement, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying though. So if we go into this black hole, this bing bang, in and out of it, right? Like you said, 30 years could have passed.
Mm-hmm.
But how? Like I don't get how just gravity affects how much our artificial time changes.
Like I don't understand it physically. Like how is it that I can come back and all of a sudden like you have gray hairs and I don't? That part I don't understand.
So if let me say like this is what I'm thinking right now. I used to know this a little bit better, so I could probably think of something a little bit better. But the way I'm thinking is right. So time and gravity. If the happenstance around you, things speed up as it goes into a bowl, right? It goes into that bowl. That's kind of how the time in the space works. So it's like, well, this
about
place,
like the chaos. Like no, not chaos. What's that?
Because chaos is from a show.
No,
that's magic.
Entropy. That's what I was thinking. Entropy.
Entropy. That's a good word. I don't know it.
I don't know
you're
means.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a Jamie on this one and pull that one off.
No, but yeah.
Well, entropy is basically like the difference from you go back to the Big Bang where everything was condensed and chaotic and then expands and is becoming more uniform.
Have you heard of white holes?
Yeah. The opposite of black holes?
Yeah, what do you know about the white? Have you heard about this?
I mean, when I was in the barracks, I heard them all the time.
Shut up, man. What you know about them white holes?
So I mean,
yeah, I can't even say nothing no more.
So, like, from my understanding, at least from what I read, because I didn't dig too deep into that part, but it doesn't get any better.
Okay, all right.
It's supposed to, like, whatever goes in a black hole.
The good thing is we're in Jacksonville. There's not a lot of digging needed out here.
So I mean, that's it. I think it's more in terms of the Einstein-Rosenbridge, like a wormhole kind of deal.
Yeah.
Go in and you can pop up somewhere else or whatever, that kind of deal. Like, at least that's what I believe.
So I think time travel is not possible now, but it will be.
It could be.
And I think time travel's happened where we come back and affect the future, which is their future.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think you're saying it's a loop that could be unbroken.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, because there's and then again, this is where it gets trippy, is because there's two types of time travel. You got open loop, closed loop, right? So the open loop is basically you could go back in time, do whatever you want. You can kill yourself, and nothing will happen to you. There's no paradox. You won't vanish out of thin air.
I've never heard about this.
There's nothing.
So is that in that theory? Are you technically going into a different dimension?
No. So you are going. So
you're going to a different timeline,
universe,
I guess.
Well, this universe. Well, that's the other one.
Yeah.
So closed loop. You travel back in time and did things to yourself because you were supposed to do it. So you never can break that cycle.
Yeah, whatever happens, always happens.
Yep.
I got you.
So open loop is you come back and you ever heard of the Flash? Or you know the Flash, right?
Yeah.
You know that the Reverse Flash went back in time.
Yeah.
And he was talking to the Flash talking to a girl, and he real quick and made him ejaculate when the girl touched him.
I've never what?
Yeah. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Is that on the actual comic?
It's on the
DC Underground.
Yo, I'll send it to y'all. All right, but yeah, he was like, you remember when you whatever, and when a girl talked to you, that was me, Barry. I made you think that you came just from a woman's touch.
So he definitely found the white hole.
Some Black Mirror.
yo, it's crazy. It's on the it's the HBO stuff that they start coming out with. It's like a little bit darker.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The Boys.
Yeah. Oh man, The Boys, dog.
Show.
That's funny.
But yeah, like so yeah, it depends on the loop. So my thing is with closed loop, it's like in terms of movies, think of like, have you ever seen I forgot which Harry Potter it was, but there was one that he did it where Hermione had the little necklace.
That was
the
Prince of Azkaban.
Yeah, so where they went to save that griffin or whatever it was that they went to kill. Well, the whole thing, that's a closed loop. It's like when if you went back in time to do something, whatever you did has already happened now.
Yep.
And that's what Stephen Hawking actually tried to prove when he did that experiment, where he was like, he threw a party, didn't send the invitations out until the next day, because he said that if they were time travelers, they would show up before the invitations were ever sent out.
Anybody show up?
Nope, nobody showed up. So that kind of
But see, so
well, I don't know.
But we're talking,
or maybe no one.
But we're talking short time travel. Like we're still fairly young, right? So I'm talking about going thousands of years back. That's not going to affect your personal life as the way you lived it.
Well,
Does that make sense?
Well, that's the thing. That's still. So
but it would have still happened.
But it still happened. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Pyramids. Okay, I think this is my thing on the pyramids. I think that we time traveled back from wherever ago, from far, far up ahead, right? Traveled back, built the pyramids, did our thing over there. We're freaking gods, whatever, and then they went back, but it didn't affect their life right then and there. It affected.
Well,
the past.
so there's a thing too that where an item can get placed into a timeline, and the person that was like created whatever was not from that timeline anymore. So now this item has just always been there, and there's no actual origin anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be interesting.
And you see, that's the thing. When it comes to time travel, it's just so
but we
much
know
involved.
we know about like from writings when the pyramids. We don't know a lot about the Sphinx.
We don't know when the pyramids were built.
Yeah,
They're pre Roman or Egypt Empire.
No, that's the Sphinx.
No, the pyramids were ancient when the.
You're thinking about the Sphinx.
That too. The Sphinx is older. No, the Sphinx are older than the pyramids.
No, there's like the pyramids. They were built, and they know the pharaoh that had them built because he was buried in it. It's the Sphinx that nobody knows.
Yeah, they think that they changed the head on it.
Well,
recarved it.
Yeah, they think they recarved it, and also thinking about the.
Was that Graham Hancock that talked about?
So
that?
yeah, you watched Ancient Apocalypse?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Yo, you didn't finish it, bro?
No.
Yo, you weren't over there like. No.
Do I binge that show?
Like I said, I love conspiracies, but I kind of toe the line sometimes.
Well, so his is a conspiracy. Yeah, so the thing about his is it's an idea that could change history. Yeah. So a conspiracy is like there's a little bit of conspiracy to it because what happened in Mississippi, they would not let him go and film.
Oh, that's right.
On the mounds. Yeah. So there's a little bit of conspiracy, but for the most part, he's just like, hey, there's something, like he says it in the film a lot. He's like, there's something weird. I don't know what it is. Can you tell me? And then it's always just a BS answer. But it's like, but no, this is like everything lining up to October because it was going through the asteroid belt that we still see to this day that happens in October. And it's like, well, explain that. And then these people that are supposed to be historians can't explain it. They're just like, well, this is the literature. This is what we know. It's like, okay, you stupid bitch. We've been wrong so many times.
Yeah. Right. We've been rewriting history.
We're always rewriting history.
But what I'm talking about with time travel is a lot of ancient cultures have similarities. Yeah. Right? Like the Egyptians,
dragons,
the Mayans.
Dragons are like my thing. It's like, how does
what's a dragon? What can a dragon really be? It can just be a spaceship.
Well, the thing about the dragons is like you see them everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but like the Mayans had one where when one of the kings died, there was a carving on top of his tomb, and it looked like he was operating a spaceship.
It's not Kukulkan. It's not him because I was looking that up today, but I know what you're talking about.
Right.
So I took a humanities class. That's why I was talking about this today. I took a humanities class, and the professor, she's like, yeah, this is him signifying he was a serpent god, he's falling into the afterlife, and it shows this is this, and this is the mouth of the snake and everything. And me loving Ancient Aliens, all right, I think it's goofy. I think they're really goofy.
I love that shit.
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. But it's goofy. They get goofy. But with this one, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And they're like, I'm like, well, okay, I'll agree that that's possibly, I'll talk to like historians, and I'm like, hey, I'll agree that that's possibly a thing. Can you agree that mine is also possible? No, couldn't happen.
Right.
You're not even going to give it a chance?
They had technology that we'll just never understand.
Yeah. Well, it's also like,
I mean, certain technology that's not understand is what is it? Indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like our small minds now look at technology. We think of electricity and everything we're doing with computers and ones and zeros and
flight, even if you went back in time and told people about what we have today, they'd be like,
"Yo, you're crazy."
You know that people flying in metal tubes.
There's actually flying cars now, like legit flying cars.
Yeah.
Did you notice?
So man, you've seen Back to the Future.
Yeah. Did you notice there's never internet in any of the old movies? Like futuristic ones, they never talk about internet.
Oh yeah,
how simple internet is. Like, if you think about really how simple it is, it's just a giant network. It's really all it is, right?
There was a competitor
to the internet.
Yeah, back in the day. So this came from a college.
You talking about Black Web?
No. It was called GopherNet. GopherNet. Yeah. So there was another one. It was GopherNet, and you had but the thing that GopherNet, they were gonna like sell it for money, but the guy that was making the internet, he was like, just make it free. And that's why it took off.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't think it was based on Linux, but it was like,
I thought the internet was made from the military. Or I'm sorry, those GPS.
GPS, but it was a lot of things.
You got like SIPRnet, is it?
Yeah, but that's
like different levels and stuff to it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's interesting.
But someone told me that, or I saw it somewhere, that internet started from the military.
Well, they probably did some. So I can tell you that I know that GopherNet for 100% started at a college, and I'm pretty sure the internet did too.
Really?
But that's also like a lot of things.
So
that
somebody owns
like a MySpace.
You're telling me
Facebook
somebody owns the
rivalry.
internet?
No, he didn't. That's the thing. He just said everybody can use it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, but like he invented it.
Yeah, he was like, all right, but I'm not going to sell this. I just want everybody to use it. Yeah. Which is like that's the thing with Linux, right? Yeah. So you have Linux is consumer. It's consumer based, right? Yeah. So you don't have to pay for Linux, right? You have to pay for Android operation system, iOS. You have to pay for Apple iOS, but Linux, everybody can go in there.
Microsoft.
No, Linux is its own thing.
Own thing?
Yeah, it's like a little penguin.
I've heard of it before.
Yeah. You can do like overlays, like a GUI overlays, or it's like a Microsoft system, but it's mostly coding.
Yeah, and like you ever seen a Raspberry Pi?
Like the actual Raspberry?
No, not the delicious edible ones.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, actually.
No, they're basically like a mini computer.
Okay.
And they actually run off of Linux because you can take a Raspberry Pi, and if you know how to do it, I had a buddy that used to do it all the time. You can make your own like game system and load all your games on it. Mm-hmm. So you ever see those people at the arcades in their house, and they're like they're like, oh, they just built it up. They got like a little TV in there or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's run off Linux.
Yeah. Yeah. Linux is basically open source. Do whatever you want.
Open source. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool.
I can see how, because that's another thing too. Again, going back to the ignorance thing, is that a lot of people don't realize a lot of the stuff that we do. I mean, some of the stuff you could even do on your own. It just takes a lot of research and maybe
the problem
coding,
is now people are just too damn
lazy
to try to figure stuff out.
And a lot of it is too because these little freaking ads for these handouts, basically like photo editors and stuff. I was just watching one the other day. Is another AI thing. It's like, oh man, this AI does everything. Magic eraser, take this person out, switch my screen, put me on a beach somewhere.
Yeah. So I can't remember if I'm saying it right or not, but when I was selling cars, one of the things they taught us in the sales training is,
please don't tell me you're the ones that put that horribly cropped image in the front of the dealership photo. It's like clearly tell it's Photoshop.
Hell yeah.
No, I'm talking about like one of the things we talk about when we're selling something is do it for me, right? So you're the client, do it for me, right? So that's how lazy people are now, that I can say this will do this for you rather than doing this. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
I was like, that's fucking lazy. Yep. You know what I mean? People nowadays just don't understand work ethic. That's the issue that we're running into these days.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, the whole town got together to build a pyramid. You know what I mean? Or build a water duct. It was something that everybody had to take part in.
This man wants to be Amish again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's
what's that? Let's go back to my slave day.
We're heading to.
Yo, did you hear about that?
The what?
Him going to slave camp?
No.
Yeah. So this man, all right. So where was it at? Colorado?
It was in Colorado.
So he goes to Colorado, and his mom drops him off. So they had to pay for this, right?
It's a summer camp.
It
was supposed to be a church summer camp.
So they made him read John over and over again, and had him doing hard labor the whole summer. Yeah, that's it. It's just.
So look, hold on. Let me give you backstory real quick. So we've already talked about one show, but I'll give you backstory. So what it is it's really cool camp. It was nestled up in the mountains of Colorado. Beautiful little area, is gorgeous, right? My uncle used to be a camp counselor there, and they go, hey man. I was kind of a rough kid at the time. Like, hey, we're gonna send you here. Just get away from the world. It's a church camp. You're gonna go to church, talk to some good people there. So all right, whatever. I had no choice in the matter, so I left. Right. When I get there, I fly into the place. They pick me up in this cool van. I get down to this place. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Nestled in the mountain. Couldn't look at anything better. I go unpack, and the next morning they're going, "Hey man, we're gonna get some of this work done. We got some stuff we got to take care of around the camp." All right, cool, whatever, right? No problem. That's gonna kind of rope you in, bro.
Nothing big.
It's gonna be a breeze.
Like, all right, whatever. So we go take care of some little bit of work. We got church that night. Hey, the next morning, hey dude, let's finish this job over here. Do some work. Church at night, and this cycle went for a fucking month.
He's just work, church, eat, shower.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. Have your butt up. I had so much church that I memorized the entire book of John word for word when I came back. And he's like, "Oh, you were a slave, right?"
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like
he's at a chain game making big rocks, little rocks. What do we need this for? We need gravel, buddy. All right?
Yeah,
Come on in here. You can wash your own feet. You know, all right?
it was messed up. They had all the males doing all the hard labor, and they had the women in the kitchen cooking food, doing dishes. Like this is a slave camp. It's like,
get in there and wash these dishes. Can I want to go out there and work. Nope. Gender role. Get it. Golly.
Like it was bad. Man. Yeah. Slave Christian work camp. It's no longer there. I wonder why.
Yo, but these camps, like I've looked at other documentaries about camps that came up, bro.
Shit.
Wow.
I just came across one. I didn't get the chance to look into it, but I just came across one video on Facebook the other day about mega churches.
Oh,
I was like,
oh yeah.
I was watching a little bit of it, and I was like, I got to look into this later.
So
mega
like
churches are weird, man.
So like I'm not a sociologist. I'm going to school for sociology, and one thing that always gets me is like people how they interact with each other. I've always found that weird because I've always kind of an outsider. Like like I have people I know and I have really good friends, but I don't have like a lot of really good friends, right? I got this guy. He just he just likes me because I'm cute, but
Because you make me money.
you know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, yo, like, what's going on with these mega churches? Like, and I'm like, why did because I other people that started the podcast know that I went to like 4 or 5 churches a week, like in 1 week. So,
different, was different churches?
Yeah. It was Extended Hands, Calvary, My Baptist.
Yeah.
It was like a bunch of them because I heard something in my church that I didn't like, and I was like, well, let me look at other churches. So I'm like, and I'm like, I'm still religious and everything, but I was like, this is interesting. Why do people follow this? And then I started saying mega churches, and I'm like, why is it? And then it's the thing is people like community, and that's the basis. But then it's like, why? If you like it, like once you get a big community, it's kind of like YouTube. If you start to get a big following, then usually you're going to keep a big following. Yeah. Right? But it's that thing, you get that number, right? And that's the same thing when you see these mega churches. It's like I know people are like from other countries, and they're like, oh, yeah, this church, I watch it on the thing. It's like, why? You have a church that is probably a very good church right next to you. That's probably a good home for you. But you want to go to watch this big church so you can be a part of that huge thing, rather than just be happy with. And that's like a biblical thing too, right? It's just like a Proverbs. It says, I read.
And you see, Yeah.
I
went to a slave labor camp. This dude
I was reading the Bible.
This dude's about to go ahead and say scripture right here.
Yeah, it was. So it's it's not perfect, but it's like it said something basically like pagans would go to the synagogues and preach loudly, while good Christians would go in their closets and do their thing. And it's like, and as I was growing up, I read that. Like I started with Revelations, and I started with Proverbs, and I just started reading, and I'm just like, nothing's making sense to me. And then that's when people are like, well, you need to go to church more. I was like, wait, no, because they're telling me the wrong thing. And one of the best things I ever heard was the Bible's written in white and black and sometimes red. So read it. And I'm like, okay, I'm reading it, but you're using this scripture and this scripture to say, give me more money. Hey, it's okay if you're doing this, just keep coming because you're getting paid. Like I'm like,
but see, I mean, my take on the whole Bible, the Bible is highly edited by people.
It's been edited, you know what I'm saying?
That was my belief or my take on it was that like, okay, Bible's man-made.
It's
isn't it subject to corruption?
Right.
And the thing is,
it's like anything.
Even if, so I'm a believer, but I'm a loose believer. Okay, so but it's like, even if there was the word of God spoken to somebody, right? Well, that dude's still got to say, well, God said, don't do this, but I'm just not going to put that in here. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Well,
King James, that's what I look at it.
So we were talking about it last time. It's not even like, oh, somebody wrote this, and it's like, well, I know you said it, but I'm not going to put it. It's like, oh, I know this has been written. Yeah. I'm taking the whole book out. Yeah. Like the book of
Enoch. Yeah.
So this was, going back to when you asked me about conspiracy, that is one that I'm currently actively pursuing. So, because before it was physics, and then I got down to like the atoms and the quarks, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Too deep.
I gotta go. I gotta pull out. Superposition, all that stuff. I was like, can't do that. So, I got into religion because that was another thing I asked. Same thing I asked why. I was like, okay, so I'm just curious, because same thing what you said about you didn't like what you heard. I would go to purposely just to get a break from boot camp, but I would go to the little sermons where they'd have there.
I went for music.
Out.
I was like, yo, this music banging.
See, I say we didn't even have music. We just we'd be out in the field, be outside, and he was just talking. Well, one thing.
Were you in San Diego?
No, I was Paris Island.
Yeah, right here. Okay.
So
Jersey.
Soon as he said it,
yeah.
the one guy he said it, he was like, "Oh, if you're listening to rap music, you're sinning." And I was like, wait. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, I got an uncle that does gospel rap.
Yeah, I was like, I don't agree with that. So that always stuck with me. So then I always wondered throughout the years. I was like, why is that? Just out of curiosity. I'm not trying to knock anybody's religion, nothing like that. I'm just naturally curious myself. So I was like, why is this? So I started to read the Bible. First off, tried to read the Bible, right?
Yep.
The actual Bible, the Old Testament, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Could barely get through it.
Well, that's the Tabat.
It's hard to understand.
That English,
Tabat, yeah.
That English, I'm like, I can't do it. So I found this one other book, and I know that probably has its own influence too, but this is one book. It's like everything about the Bible, but it's like reworded in a way that like Bible scholars kind of make sense of it. So it's easier to read, like, because they'll have the scripture, and then they'll have like the examples and what it relates to, what the scholars say and stuff like that. So it really breaks it down. And I'm just reading through that all. So I dug into that, like where the Bibles come from. I found out there was like 13 different Bibles, like different versions. Like the King James is not even like the most, I guess, accurate, I guess,
But it's
in
the
a
most
way.
used too.
Yeah. And at least the history that I came across with that was, because it started with that one where it was like when King James had taken over, I guess he took over with Queen Elizabeth or whoever, took over for her. And I guess at the time, people were learning about one way and reading about another in the churches. So they basically wanted to democratize it. And King James had, they remodeled, made his version. So I could see how, like, oh, if he wanted, I guess another thing I heard was, I guess, like Catholics, like they believe you have to worship God through the church or only through the church. So, like, they want to hold that power. So when you reword it, would you change a couple things to give that power?
Well, then
to the church?
have you gotten down to the nitty gritty of the Bible itself, like when it was actually edited and when it really came popular?
No, I got down to I think it was like the Geneva was like direct scripture from the was it Hebrew?
Well, no, it was Aramaic.
The Aramaic.
It was written in Aramaic.
Well,
because that was the language of God.
You can trace back Christianity to a point where it really started blowing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it was the birth of Christ that really helped the whole thing out, right? But if you look at it, the Roman Empire had to adopt a religion for their country,
dying society,
for their dying society, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they chose Christianity as one of them, right? And the theory is that a lot of it was changed to benefit them. For example, what belongs to Caesar, or give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, give to God what belongs to God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the big parts. I'm like, well, why would God say
something
Caesar
like that
specifically?
Also,
you know what I'm
in
saying?
Proverbs it says when your husbands are going out to counsel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I read that, and that was like,
it's like, is that really what it was said?
Mm-hmm.
And I can see it. Let's play devil's advocate. I could see it being something similar to that. You know what I mean? Like, give to your king or your ruler or whatever what belongs to him, and give to God what belongs to God. I get that, but why specifically say Caesar?
Well, do y'all know that?
You know what I mean?
Do you know why we have like Presbyterian? Like why it broke away from Catholicism?
Mm-mm.
Martin Luther.
Really?
Like Lutheran, that all came from this guy named Martin Luther, who saw that the church was doing it. So back in the day, before Martin Luther did his thing, he saw that the cardinals and the bishops. So let me start a little bit farther back than this.
I've got some things there.
So the
right.
So you had the Greek Orthodox and you had the church, but the Bible could only be read in Latin.
Yeah.
So they would send the bishops and stuff over the Greeks and teach them. Well, the Greeks was like done with that, but then they were like, so the Martin Luther was like, hey, you guys are doing some stuff wrong. You made 99 problems with the church. All right. 99 problems and God ain't one. You know what I'm talking about? So stabs that to the door, and they exile him. What's it called?
Exile.
No. What did they say on John Wick?
Crucified.
Excommunicado. Yeah, so he was excommunicado. He was excommunicated from the church.
I love John Wick.
And then people were like, it's all right. And then people started like, wait, and then that's when you had Lutherans and became the Baptists. You had anti-Baptists. You had all these. You had the Presbyterians, and that's when you had all this. All right, and then it became like as that grew because the Pope Urban VIII actually when they were having the Crusades, this is one of those things. Is like how they talk about the Bible. Thou shalt not kill.
Mm-hmm.
That thou shalt not kill other Christians. It's okay. Muslims on the table. Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
then even things where it's like there's a time for peace and time for war.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, yeah, but you still shouldn't kill people, even if it's at war. But why am I got a free pass now?
And I forgot this other big crucial part about the bishops, the cardinals. They auctioned off those spots to people that had money.
How about that?
So the people that were teaching the Greeks and stuff were just rich people that had money from brothels. Like, it's crazy.
I've heard something like that. Like, and this is brief. I can't remember because it was a while ago. But I had come across that, like, the bishops, cardinals, the Catholic Church, all that, they were into some shady shit.
Shady
like,
stuff. Yep.
even cutting deals with what's his name?
Satan.
Jews. No. Holocaust.
Oh, Hitler?
Hitler, yeah. Like, they were even cutting backdoor deals with Hitler.
I heard about that.
All kinds of stuff. I was like,
have you heard about the Vatican?
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, people go missing in the Vatican.
All the time. All the time.
They also have the most art,
but,
like expensive, like old art.
Yeah.
They have all of
it. A lot of the art was actually stolen during the Nazi time when they were taking all the art, too. That just happened to show up at the Vatican.
Didn't they have like wasn't there like a pope that was going to spill their secrets?
And he
got
died.
Like assassinated? He died
I didn't
mysteriously.
know that.
And they were trying to cover it up. They wouldn't let anybody on the outside come in to investigate.
He was
about to spill the beans.
The
and they were
Christian whistleblower.
Dude, there's that. There's all kinds of stuff with like the holograph with the Pope in the window. Did you ever see that video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll put it on the podcast. But you see the Pope up in a window. He's waving down at people. People are looking at him, right? And he turns away. It's like he's walking into the room, but he just vanishes. It's like, no, bro, you didn't. It didn't go that dark that quick behind you, bro. Like it's
or he's a vampire.
See, one thing I will say though is that I can give, like, I can commend a lot of these conspiracies is the people that come up with this shit is like, you got some imagination.
But
you know what I mean?
So that's the thing. So do you know when conspiracy theory became a term?
CIA.
JFK got assassinated. That's when conspiracy theory became a term.
Well, Elon Musk said,
they had to categorize it. They were like, we got so many of these things going on. Category. There you go.
Well, I'm gonna paraphrase what Elon said. He goes, a conspiracy theory is just a truth that's not yet brought to light.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, think about it, man, because a lot of these conspiracy theories lately are coming true, man.
So that's the thing too. Is like conspiracy theorists, like Alex Jones, be saying some crazy stuff.
Shit, though.
But the thing about it is, you have somebody that's like Alex Jones, right? And I don't mess with them all. But Bohemian Grove,
yeah.
Okay, and other things he has said that has been he is crazy. All right, he got hit. Like his brain is not always there, but
he's got some things right.
But he's like he'll say something wild, and the truth is in that. Just kind of like when Trump said something about UV light and all that stuff, and drinking bleach or whatever. There was truth in what he was talking about. He just knows the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah. Same kind of concept. Yeah. Well, the good thing is, we got a guy here that knows audio, so we can really make the truth sound a lot better.
Yeah. You gotta get it clear.
I'm
nice
sorry. I know we did the break, and let's do one more break. Let me go use the rest.
You want to take a piss?
We'll wrap it up when we get back.
Back on the bandwagon.
Hey, yo, you ever heard my pizza joke?
Pizza? No, okay.
Pizza joke?
Yeah, that's pretty cheesy. So we'll get back into this thing.
And we're in there.
Your wife wanted to throw the headphones. She was like, yo, get this out of here, bro.
She's like, it's time to go to bed. We got to get out of here. Cheesy jokes.
Man, I had to use the restroom, come back and waste my time like this.
All right. Yeah. So your podcast, how long have you been doing your podcast for?
So it's, I started it, I think around January. So it's only been a couple months.
Okay.
I know we talked about this before. My first thing was coming up with an idea. Trying to figure out what to do. So I went through like maybe 5 or 6 different names, and I check it online. Somebody's using it. Oh, no, I can't do it, because my thing is I'm also trying to build a brand from it. So I want to be able to use it in the future, and I don't, try to do the work now. So I don't. Are you
talking like an online brand? Or are you gonna do like a store kind of thing too, or a training studio kind of deal?
Yeah, I think as of right now, majority will probably be online.
Okay.
But it could branch out, and eventually maybe do like a brick and mortar kind of thing. But
a university, right?
Yeah. So, but that's basically what it is. I'm trying to think of any examples. There are some.
Not DeVry.
there are some YouTube channels that are similar.
That one part from Saturday Night Live. Yeah. He went to DeVry.
But yeah, there are some YouTube channels that kind of emulate the same kind of thing as what I'm doing, and it's more so just to be instructive, kind of teach people to do things, because like peeling back the layers, the main thing is that I like to help people, you know, and obviously I don't think I'm smart enough to be a doctor or a surgeon or anything like that. So, you know, I have always had a love for music, and this is like my way of being able to help people, because I believe that music can really control your feelings. You know what I mean? Like, you have a Spotify playlist for when you're at the gym. You have one for when you're just laying down. You know, it really helps with your emotions. So that's the way I look at it, you know. So whenever I, you know, listen to a lot of music, I don't really listen to just the words or just the beat, stuff like that. Like, it's the way it makes you feel.
It's like
music is
like
emotional.
Dear Mama, like Tupac.
Yeah. Like, it has a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion in it. You know, you could feel.
Well, yeah. Like for me, when we do weddings, my thing is Daddy's Little Girl, or I Loved Her First. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
So, you know, you have a daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know the
2.
deal. Yeah, I got 3. So it sucks, man, because every wedding I do, they always want the same song.
He's watching.
And whenever someone requests that song, you know, I Loved Her First. I'm not gonna lie, I'll be behind the board. I'm like trying not to. I'm keep my composure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be out there dancing with all 3 of my kids one day with that same song. So yeah, music and sound.
Yeah,
is
and it's powerful,
emotions.
you know, and it's so powerful that they're even using audio for medicinal purposes also.
Yeah.
Really?
Like, I don't know if you've heard, but they're actually using it to it's a non-intrusive surgery where they act like, let's say like you got like a kidney stone or something, right? They'll actually they'll use sound and break the kidney stone up, and you could pass it through your body.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, so the way it works
I've heard that there's notes out there that can kill cancer cells. I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's certain like frequencies basically that can do it. So and you know, because that's the way it works. So again, people need to understand how sound works, and that's the sort of the whole premise of what I'm doing with the podcast right now, is to get people to, even people who don't want to be audio engineers but are genuinely interested in how it works, it's a place to go where you can learn about it, you know, and learn a lot.
So do you break it down like
I break it down Barney style, like simple as possible. Yeah,
okay,
simple
good.
as possible, because you know, before I talk about topic, I do the research, and in that research, I'll find some shortcomings there where a lot of these guys, they'll go into it expecting you to know some or all about it, you know. So they'll start throwing terms, they'll start talking about this and that, and you're just sitting there like,
kind of get lost.
I don't know what you're talking about. So
you try to make it so anybody can run under your show, and just they don't have to hear previous shows and understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. If they naturally just enjoy it, you know, they can listen to it. Think of like, you know, what was it, like How It's Made? You know, like people were like watching it because they're just like, hey, I don't plan on making fucking rotors and cars, but I like to see it made and how it's cool.
Or Modern Marvels. I'll watch it all the time.
You ever heard of Stuff You Should Know? Stuff you
I think I've heard of
podcast?
it. I don't think.
Yo, shout out to them. I love them.
Stuff You Should Know.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna have
just
to look them
random stuff that you should know.
I'm gonna have to look them up. But I like that. You know, it's like, so that's kind of what the premise is with the show, is like to raise that awareness, and like even people that are just genuinely interested, they can listen to it and be like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that.
And I've noticed that. Like, I follow a lot of people on YouTube. We all do, right? There's one I go. It's called Audio University.
I follow them too.
He's a good dude, right? He knows what he's talking about. But every episode, you can start from dead scratch and understand what he's talking about.
Yep.
He's not building off the prior episode where you got to go find the prior episode. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That kind of stuff is awesome, because I've found a couple of other ones where they said, all right, well, on our last show, we said this.
Yep.
Now to move forward, it's like, well, shit, where's your last show? You know what I mean? So if
Now
you
you
can
gotta
find it
find
quicker, that's really, really cool.
So that's kind of the layout that I'm going for also, is to where like the timeline is starting from the beginning. Like my very first episode was the creation of the audio recorder. So I basically go behind the scenes of how this all came to be. You know,
dope.
and it's a really interesting story. Even when I was looking into it, it's basically it shows like the premise of how they were able to do the things they could do back then and not have all of this technology that we have today. You know, the first thing was it's been a while, so I can't remember the names, but I know Thomas Edison's in there. I forgot the first guy's name. But anyway, the first thing he made was called the phonautograph. That was the first thing. And all this thing was it was a needle with a cone, and it had a piece of paper with like filament on it, like black ash sort of. Yep. And as the sound would come in, it would go through the cone down to the needle. It would vibrate the needle, so as the paper moved, it recorded the modulations in the paper. So when you held it up to a light, you saw the sound waves that were being made just from this little tiny little needle. And granted, it couldn't be played back. So that was the first ever audio recorder, even though it couldn't be played
that's when
back.
they're actually looking at sound at that point.
Yeah. That's when sound was first visualized. Was that moment.
That's crazy.
So now, from that point, you had Thomas Edison, who came in and basically created the phonograph.
Was it Thomas Edison or he steal it again?
Yeah. Basically, I mean, it's a lot of it is being built on prior ideas, and that's what he did. He took his idea and he said, "Okay, cool. Let's get rid of this paper. I'm going to put this little cylinder here with aluminum foil, basically.
Yeah,
tin foil.
Yep.
He puts this aluminum foil there and puts the needle, and as you yell into the cone, the needle moves. As he moves the foil, it etches into the foil. So now what that did is he would reset it, set the needle back to the beginning, play it, and it would play back the sound that was just recorded. Because the thing that the main point that people have to remember is that sound is, it's not this like magical thing. It's just sound is the interaction with a medium. So like when you talk with your vocals or any, you hit a wooden wall or metal wall, whatever you hit, the impact of that sound, and depending on the material, the density, and all that other stuff, is the sound that it's going to make. And that's what sound is. So sound in and of itself is not sound. It's just the reaction from hitting.
That is so cool.
Yeah. This man is way too smart for our podcast.
Well, he broke it down. He broke it down.
And I'm telling you, if you listen to the first episode, I break it down in the first episode. So like I was saying, I'm making it so that it's a timeline. So even though I know, like you said, I try to stray away from in our last episode we talked about this, because then people got to find it. I cover everything in one episode, but it's in order overall. So if you start from episode 1 and go your way up, it's like you'll just learn more and more about it, And I'm talking about every little thing that, for the most part, that I feel is relevant, because there is a lot of stuff out there.
Are you gonna do something about guitars?
Yeah, I actually have one planned for speakers alone, monitors, because I haven't dug too deep into it yet, but from what I learned so far was, other than like the materials that are used for the speaker, the drivers and the impedance and all that, but actually the difference between a I forgot what they call it, but when it's got the hole in it.
Oh, you're talking about the type of box?
Yeah.
Like a bandpass box?
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, but there's a name for it. I just can't remember what it is. But yeah, I was doing research on that and
I'll
how that affects audio.
And I'll learn about it.
Yeah, it's like I said, that so it's that. And then overall building a brand. So as time goes on, get more followers, start making materials, shirts, hats, just to kind of represent the band. And also I created an Instagram as well as a YouTube. The YouTube is basically for the visuals, because the podcast is all audio. The YouTube is going to be more for the visuals.
What's it called?
It's Behind the Sine.
Sine
is spelled S-I-N-E.
A
Sine wave. Yeah. Took me a while to come up with that for it to stick.
Mm-hmm.
And even the logo. I mean, if you check out the logo, it's just
I'll put it up,
it's a yield sign. It's got the behind the, and it's like broken.
Yeah.
And the sign is cracked. So it's just like breaking that wall of mystery that's there. Because I will say, like, as I got into, the audio industry, or got more into it, there was a lot too that I learned that I was a little disappointed by, when it comes to like big records and the record labels and stuff, how they used to shaft their artists and stuff. Like I'm sure you've heard of like TLC, like even as big as they were, they
broke it down on that on the radio.
I didn't know that.
Did you see?
So there's a lot of secrets.
It's one on YouTube where they're being interviewed by some radio host, right? And they're talking about, you sold 30 million records this year. You guys are doing good. And she broke it down that they're getting like
nope,
3 cents
of
nothing. Records.
Yeah.
But just
those contracts be
So just to touch that real quick, from what I learned was, people back in the day used to hear, I got a record label, I made it. Just because you got a record label doesn't mean you technically made it. You know what I mean?
It don't mean nothing.
It just means that they're gonna front you 10 mil, 20 mil, whatever it is. But you have to make these records. You're under contract to make a certain amount of songs for a certain time. And during that time, you won't see a penny. You have to pay back their advance first before you even start making money.
Chance the Rapper is one of the only like independent guys. It's like Asher Roth had a record label. He got rid of it because he was like, this is not the music I want to make.
Yeah.
That's when he had Get Ready for a New Day, grind.
Once you start bringing like more and more people into it, your vision just kind of like goes out the window, because then this guy's like, no, this is what society wants, this is what we're gonna do, and it's like, then you're just not you know what I mean? So that's basically down the line, that's what I'm trying to do with this, just to kind of shed the light on a lot of that, and so people know there's a lot that's involved in that.
Y'all know about Milli and Vanilli?
I've heard.
Yo, they were the ones that did the lip singing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the thing. Is like the guy that was like running them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "Hey, they're attractive. You know, they were actually both from Germany.
Yeah,
they're German
Really?
German black dudes. Yeah, and they were like, hey, you know, well, we're gonna have these other guys sing these songs for you, but yeah, don't worry, you'll be able to sing the songs later."
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like one of them, like he couldn't sing that well. The other one could sing a little bit, but he wasn't as good as like whatever. And that was the whole thing. Is that the record label was like, "This is what you're doing."
Yeah,
buddy. Yeah. And so now they, you know, long story, you know, short. Now it's the record label did that, but now they're out of the record label.
Yep.
So they actually did a little tour with the people that were doing the vocals.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. That. Yeah, it's a kind of cool thing.
Yeah, that's like the good and the bad, because there's always a yin and yang. There's always a good and a bad. So the good thing about the streaming now, where people can basically just upload their stuff on Spotify or SoundCloud or whatever, they don't have to go to a record label. Yep. It's just a lot harder for the marketing for them, because now they got to do their own work. But
yeah, Instagram be popping.
Yeah, but they literally won't have to pay a dime to the record label. Nothing. It's all them. So that's good. But then at the same time too, one thing I'm not a fan of is this oversampling. Like just constant use of recycling someone else's song, you know, and it's like
it's crazy.
We do that at weddings. Right, so I have an old school, new school mix. Right?
Yeah.
And no, that's fine. Like if you're mixing, changing up, that's fine. But
he's
I'm talking about making whole new tracks off someone else's work.
Creepin', that new song with it's Metro Boomin.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that song.
Yeah,
it's I can't remember what song it is, but it's the old if you hate me, keep it on the low.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole song.
Yeah,
and it's literally. The everything is the same. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro?
Gotcha.
You know, every once in a while I hear something. I'm like, okay, cool. I like how they did that.
Yeah,
but then they'll
switched
just
it up.
or like Kram de Allah, check in with me and do your job. And I'm like, that's Slava Manab.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, yo, like, what are we doing?
Copy
here?
and paste. So
Copy and paste.
That's it.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
But no, you talking about when because what you do is. They'll sample
like
a song.
mashup.
They'll sample a song, and you'll go into the old school song or go into the new school song with that same beat.
Same music.
That's fine.
So
you're
like a mashup.
you're doing
that's
good.
fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He's talking about if you were to take, let's say you take
the same structure, same beat, same lyrics,
or even just took the same song. I said, hey, the same song. I'm gonna sing it with my lyrics, and then I'm gonna post it online.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I do at weddings.
You do at weddings? What song?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but the context is different though. Like he's owning the song, saying, hey, this is my track. You're just doing a mashup.
That's like if you went and grabbed some girls off the street and was like, we're gonna make Scrub.
Okay, tracking. Okay.
Yeah. And then we're gonna change the beat up a little bit, and then you're gonna sing it, and then you're gonna throw a rap verse in there. That's a completely different song.
Yep, completely different.
That's what we're talking about. Which is
so that's
annoying.
the bad part of this streaming. It's open
super freaky girl
and
can't touch it. So that's what I'm talking
so
about.
yeah, but that's just a sample. Which sampling is okay. Which it's sampling. So sampling started way back in the day because the most sampled song is "Let Me Clear My Throat."
Yeah,
that's the most sampled song in the world. All right.
Wow. It's a great song.
Great song, right?
I play it too.
Catchy,
right? But now it's getting to the point where they're like, it's not like, where is the line between sampling?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, are you sampling or are you just gonna steal the hell out of it? Like, back in the day, MC Hammer got sued by who? Or no, was it Ice? Vanilla Ice.
That was Vanilla Ice.
Vanilla Ice. Yeah, he got sold.
Yeah.
He got sued, right? But now there's songs coming out that are the same song.
Yeah.
Like Creepin' is a good example.
Yeah, there's a lot, and that's the dark side of it, is that, and it even goes to producers too. I mean, nowadays with all the AIs and all the stuff out there, you got producers that will like generate something, put it on there, put the MIDI so they can change the instrument, which MIDI's it's musical interface, digital, something I can't remember, but it's basically the notes. It's just the information that you put in the computer to play the notes. And when you put the instrument on there, you could change up the instrument to whatever you want. They'll put that on there, and then they'll paste it as their own. Or even people that make certain beats, they'll be like, oh, look, I sold this beat, and he didn't really do it. It was just AI, or it was someone else that did it,
Or you get a sample and like, hey, sample this or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's the dark side. But all in all, that's the kind of stuff that, I'm trying to bring to light through the podcast, just so that you know the work that's involved. So again, if you want to be an engineer, that's you can get into it that way, or if you just like listening to it, that way you have a different approach. If you're just that naturally curious kind of person like I am, where you just know like, hey, how does that work? What's involved with all that?
Yeah.
And just basically getting rid of that like ignorance. And if you are like, let's say, an artist that's hiring an engineer or whatever, you got a little more respect for them because you know the work that's involved. I got my wife's cousin that was doing a bunch of songs for her brother, and it was funny, like, because every time he calls me, he's like, hey, how's this going? I'm like, yeah, it's coming, but it just takes a little bit, because he used to call me like every day, and then it'd be like once a week or whatever, and I'd be like, look, I don't want him to feel like I'm not making any progress on it. So I was like, all right, I'm just send them a couple videos of the stuff. I'm like, hey, look, check this out, this is what's done, this is the process, that because whenever I'm working on a song, I got to record his vocals, got to tempo map the vocals to the beat, and you gotta build the beat, and it's a lot, and that's why, like, depending on your level of skill, an engineer could be anywhere from like $100 to $1,000, depending on the skill, the work he's got to do. That's everything that's involved. So that's what the podcast is doing, is bringing that to light, so that way you can appreciate, and you're like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, it makes sense.
At the same time, just educating. So
well, that's cool, man, dude. Thank you so much for coming down. I appreciate you. Go ahead and plug your pages one more time.
Yeah, no problem. So you can find me on Instagram. It's Behind the Sine. Sine is spelled SINE. I also have a YouTube channel, Behind the Sine Productions, and also on Instagram, and it's also Behind the Sine.
Cool, brother. Thank you so much for coming down. I appreciate you coming down, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You have a good night. Take care, guys.
We out.